Dave. Bam, ba, ba. Hello. What's up, you dinguses? It's me, a day late. If you follow me on the Twitter machine, you know why. I was feeling a bit of the flume yesterday, and I felt like I couldn't do a good episode. So I rather moved it one day back, and now I'm much more awake and not flumpy and can talk with my mouth for a longer duration of time. That's about it. I'm gonna ramble on here while I share these things with the things right now. So yeah, what's going on? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a nice weekend. Had a nice week, if you will. I've just been enjoying more Majora's Mask over on the Twitch channel. So if you haven't checked that out yet, go check that out. It's been good fun. First time playing Majora's Mask. Just doing all the optional things. There's lots and lots to do in that game, and I'm having a great time. That's basically what's been happening there. Obviously, we're donezo with the Kenobi stuff over on the EFAP minis. So that's finally donezo. I think Miyuki already put out the supercut of the whole thing, I think. So you can watch all of those in a row. I think it's like an 8-hour supercut or something. It's crazy amounts of content for you to consume. Go watch that instead of Kenobi, because Kenobi is not very good. But that's a whole different point that I don't want to talk about today, because we talked about it for a long duration of time. So yeah. I'll say, I guess, happy America Day for everyone who's watching and listening to this live today. I guess that's a thing that's happening over in America. For me, it's just a normal Monday. Just a normal ass Monday. Nothing special. Nothing nice to see here from me. Just doing the thing that I always do, but a day late. Because normally I would be streaming on Twitch today. But there you go. Yeah. Let's have a look, see at chat here while I still shill my stuff over on the Twitter machine real quick. Live right now. I'm gonna post that link here and go boom. There you go. It's you. It's metal. It is. Also, yes. If you eagle-eyed like Jorms, I put a little. I found an audio visualizer online. It's called a waveform visualizer, and you can do a little circle, and now you can see some green stuff like you would if I had a Discord overlay on screen. So I thought that would be a bit nicer. So I like how that looks. It looks a bit more things, I guess. Doesn't look as boring. So I'm happy with that. I wonder if I can make it to be just a circle, but I don't think the program is able to do that, but I have to fleam around with that for a little bit for next time maybe. Movies like 3 hours. Will this be the longest Forgenheimer? Well, normally the shorter ones are the long ones, mostly with meme. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. It's obviously I'm doing this by myself, so there's only so much I will be talking about, because this is a chonker of a movie, as you very well saw for yourself. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. How is RRR? It's a fun movie. It's a really fun movie. I'm looking forward to talking about it, because I think it does a lot of neat stuff, and it's just a fun movie to watch. You know, it just does what movies do best: entertain you, and don't throw random stuff at you that doesn't make a lot of sense. Not that you're really looking for a lot of sense in this movie, because this movie is way over the top, but it knows it is, and this is why it's so much fun to watch. But we shall be talking about that as we go along. Just you today, Metal, or is the other person late? I missed the start because ads. No, it's just me. It's just me today. Next week I have a Guesteruni. Wait, I think next week is... Oh yeah, next week is going to be me and Frungo. No, not that next week. What I'm talking about this week. The next episode is what I meant. Because that's going to be Thor Love and Thunder on Sunday. So we're going to be talking about that on EFAP. And then on Sunday I'll be talking about it with Frongo right here on the Forge. And yeah, no, next week I'll be joined by Mark the Cyborg, if I'm not mixing up the dates. Yes, that's the next week Sunday. And that one is going to be RoboCop. So there you go. There's your next 2 forges already set in stone. And actually the one after that is going to be on the 21st. And that's going to be with good old Jay. And Jay is turning in the Let's Watch Something Awful card, probably, unless it's going to turn out to be good. But there's one of these weird comedy shows coming out, which is called Farzar, and looked really bad in the trailer. And Jay was like, let's watch the first 3 episodes and talk about it. So that's something we're going to do. I'm sure it's going to be really good. Probably not. But yeah, those are the next 3 episodes already planned. And yeah, all kinds of stuff coming along. Jay, the first one to turn in the you can make me watch something bad card. So there you go. Keep telling you'll die if you don't. Yeah, my health bar is all around my avatar. It's gonna go down. Reminds me of RE4 health bar. Is that around your icon? That is the waveform visualizer. So it kind of looks like when Discord Flumes is lighting up. Next week he's covering the minions. Nah, I think I'm alright. Gonna tell all the EFAP boys to watch RRR. I already told Mupli to watch this one, because I'm pretty sure he's gonna enjoy it. And when he watched it, I want to ask him if he wants to do an EFAP movies on it, because I think it could work. But then there's just a bunch of stuff where I don't know what the commentary would be like. But like the action scenes should make for some funny reactions for sure, because those things are funny, insane, but also very very satisfying to watch. But yeah, I'm quitting chat. Don't do it. Should probably want to watch it. Yeah, I'm already trying. It's such a beautiful slant. Anything that Jay could show you, I can show you something worse. I mean, there's a lot of bad stuff out there, so doesn't. We can see Metal's voice. This is unnatural. Yeah, go like whoa. But yeah. Also, I'm still on my retro gaming trip. Obviously. I did go to Cologne this weekend and visited that retro game shop. And that little shop is flippin' amazing. I was very, very surprised. It's a small little shop, but they have like all the stuff. They have Sega Mega Drives, they have GameCubes, they have Super Nintendos, Nintendo Entertainment Systems, PS1 to like everything. And was even able to get probably like a SCART to HDMI converter. So a better converter than the one I got. And it's cheaper than the one I wanted to get. But this one works pretty darn well. It gets pretty close to the... it does get pretty close to the original output, but not all the way. Should be good for capturing. Problem is I still need the newer Elgato capture card. because my old one that I bought like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, that does not support the signals of the retro consoles, unfortunately. So even if I tell it, oh, just do other signal and use HDMI, the Elgato HD60 Pro that I have is like, nah, can't do that, I'm afraid. And then I checked the website and they only start at PS3, so I can do PS3, 4, 5, and that's it. And because the Elgato HD60 Pro that I have is already end of life, I also don't get any updates anymore for that card. So I guess it's time to get a ye old update for that stuff. Yeah. And then I was like, man, just for myself, I kind of just want a 4x3 screen so I can play the consoles. Without capturing. So I just want an old TV, preferably flat screen, that has all the SCART adapters and S-video and what you all need. And funnily enough, I was looking online and I found one who's selling one for $50, just 5 kilometers from here. And how luck will have it, my mom's actually gonna come over that day, on Wednesday. I was like, hey, you mind go grab a TV somewhere? She's like, yeah, sure. So I'm gonna go grab that on Wednesday, and then I'm gonna check out how that looks. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Just building my little retro thing in my room here. That's pretty fun stuff. I'm enjoying it because I have all the consoles in here. All my consoles still work, even though they were lying around in a garage for 4 or 5 years probably. I did need to get a new controller for my PlayStation because all 3 of my DualShock controllers all broke. They just all didn't work anymore. And now I got a wireless one actually that works via Bluetooth and that one works on PS1 and PS2. So that's cool stuff. Works with just normal batteries. Pretty cool. Got new memory cards and everything. So I'm pretty much set up just to play by myself now. But I do need to invest a bit more of cash so I can get that new Elgato capture card to capture the actual hardware. And I'm afraid it's probably not going to look as good as on the TV itself, but it's going to be pretty close. It's probably going to be pretty close. I probably can dick around with it on the Elgato capturing stuff as well, because I had to change some settings on my TV. But right now, with the HD video converter that I have, on my 4K TV, I can pretty easily play it on there. It's a bit pixely, but I guess that just comes with the resolution. But when I turn it to 4x3 and do the output to 720p, it looks pretty good. It's pretty playable. So yeah, good stuff. I'm looking forward to that, to get that all set up. So there you go. That's what I've been doing this last week basically. Did a lot of research for all the things because there's the OSSC converter and the Koryu and whatnot that does like the top-notch conversion. I'm probably gonna get those in the long run, but that's probably gonna cost me another $200 to $400 just to get it and import it over here. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. So that's a little update for the week, if you will, just to get everyone on track to what's been going on. It's gonna be poor in the next few months. No. It's gonna be a while till I get those. It's just a little project I'm gonna be doing, because I don't wanna just pay a fuck ton of money all the time. So yeah, also need to go back to put shit in my spendings account, or my savings account, I should say, because there has been some financial tisms in the family, not for myself, more like in the family, and I already said it on the Twitch stream. Just thank you everyone for just watching the Twitch streams, these streams, putting cheers there, donations, subscriptions, whatever. I'm not raking in like big bucks on like YouTube or whatever, but just the amount I get just helps out incredibly, especially right now with the tisms in the family, so I can take care of all that stuff. And just want to say thank you for the support. It's really been helping that I can just take care of the family. So yeah, there you go. Just get that out of the way, if you will. Now we can, now that I've been nice, we can talk about common penises again. All right. But I just want to let everyone know that I'm very grateful that everyone is just watching and supporting. So yeah, thank you very much for that. And yeah, I think that's all the updates going on right now. Yeah, and then probably just gonna be playing more Majora's Mask on the Twitch probably tomorrow, because Mutually is still moving into his new place. So right now, no EFAP stuff happening, or no EFAP movie recordings. So I think this is just gonna be worked on other stuff in the backlog, I assume. And I'm guessing there's probably gonna be an EFAP on Thor: Love and Thunder this weekend. I would assume. I think that was the idea. I'm definitely gonna do a Fortune on Sunday, and I'm just assuming we're gonna do one on Saturday. And because I've watched it, I'm guessing I'm just gonna be hanging around for that. So yeah, there you go. Good stuff. So let's talk about this crazy movie that I watched. RRR, Revolved Roar Revolution something. I knew I forgot to write something down. Hang on, RRR movie. It's been a couple of days since I made those notes, so now I forgot what the RRR actually stands for. Hang on, movies, Wikipedia. Come on, tell me what it means. It's like something along those lines. Revolt, Revolution, Roar. Come on. RRR, Revolt. Rise, Roar, Revolt. That's that. There you go. That's what the RRR stands for. But you just find it via RRR. That's what the movie title is, as far as I know. RRR. Yeah. Well, I pinned a comment on one of the latest EFAP saying next week might be Thor 4. Oh, okay, cool. Cheers, Thunder. Appreciate that. So yeah, this movie just kind of fell into my lap, basically. So I was just on the interwebs, just browsing around, as you do. And I just saw a video of the Corridor crew. You're probably familiar with them. They do like a CGI work and all that good stuff. And they have a really cool YouTube channel where they do like random things, do some challenges, who can do some themed CGI thing. I think they have like a little series where they do like the most pleasant to watch or most satisfying renders you can do in like a week. So yeah, definitely go check them out. They have like really cool videos where they do like experimental stuff. And there, so I was like, oh, RRR, good. It has like good CGI, because they obviously were looking at the CGI specifically because what they do. So I was like, oh, well, we're going here, and then you see like 2 fights in there, or like parts of the fights, and it's like, man, this looks really nifty. This could be a fun one for the Forge. And I think someone actually on the Twitch stream, like 2 days later, a day later, it was actually like, yo man, you need to watch RRR. It's like, why is this getting traction? Like, why is this like splattering in my face right now? Because I think this movie went around like a couple of months ago, so I'm actually late on this one, I think. And yeah, because I saw the Corridor crew video, I was like, oh, this is like really neat CGI. It looks pretty good for the most part. And yeah, I was just, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna watch it. And then I saw it was 3 hours long. I was like, oh, dicks. Should probably go on that. So yeah, it took me like 3 days to prepare this, mostly because I had to stop because of work and streams and whatnot. So I watched it like 3 parts, basically. Uh, and yeah, I had a really good time with it. It's just a really, really entertaining movie. Uh, and it's not Bollywood, even though people like to believe it's Tollywood. I didn't even know there's a distinction. I thought this was just all Bollywood, but apparently it's like a thing of the region where the movie is filmed in. So depending on where that is, it's like Bollywood and Tollywood, and they might even have more. I'm not sure, but this one is Tollywood. Um, so yeah, and apparently, so I did some research. I just checked what this movie was, and then I saw that this is like it's a fictional story about two real life Indian revolutionaries, and they were called Alluri Sitarama Raju and Komaram Beam. So those are the names they have in the movie. So we have Beam and Raju, um, and they were like revolutionaries in their fight against the British Raj. It's set in 1920, and apparently the plot explores the undocumented period in their lives when both of the evolutionaries choose to go into oblivion before they began fighting for their country. So the idea is these two people never met in real life, but they have like the coincidental. They both have a pretty similar pattern of time where nothing is documented about them. So they basically disappeared for like 3 or 4 years, and then re-emerged and started doing all the revolution stuff against the British Raj. And so the idea for this movie was like, oh, what would have happened if those two would have meet up in that time between? And this is how this all just kind of went through. I just found it interesting that happened. So yeah. And this is like another one of those movies that has been delayed for like 2 years because of Corona. Because I think this was initially announced in like 2018, 2019, if I remember correctly. And they had to delay and delay and delay, like a lot of movies did. And yeah, finally came out, I think at the beginning of this year sometime, like February or something. And yeah, they did it. And it's the most, I think it made like a shit ton of money for like an Indian production. I think it made all its money back. It broke like several box office records in India. Got really popular here in the West. I think they even they did a second screening for this one in America, I think. So yeah, this was even popular in the West, and I can see why. This is like a really, really entertaining movie. And it was interesting for me to see because I've never seen any of the Tollywood, Bollywood movies like ever. So I didn't even know what I was really in for. Because it's always to me, it's like, oh, Bollywood, they just start dancing and singing and whatnot. There's actually not a lot of singing in here. But I think there's like 2 or 3. I think it starts with someone singing, but it's like more a tribe thing where the characters come from. And then later, like in the middle, there's like a party where they have like a dance-off with a dickish British guy. And that song is actually a fucking banger, dude. I actually kind of want that on my Spotify playlist. Like this is some good beats. Those fuckers are slapping. It's pretty nifty. I've had a good time. Oh yeah, there's like some montage things going on, but those are mostly like not voiceovers, but like sing over. It's like a song over a montage, and it just fits. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's very entertaining. So straight from the get-go, if you just want to have a fun time and want to watch a movie that has like really good quality visuals as well, like this whole movie just looks really good. Go have a watch. For entertainment purposes alone, I recommend it. because the story in itself is probably not, it's not even like crazy or anything. It just works for the most part, as far as I can tell. Because I think it's pretty basic, pretty basic action drama thingy going on, but it's very competently told, if you will. But yeah, let me get some visual tisms up in this schleem, and let's jump straight into it. Into it. Easy for me to say. So yeah, we start with some singing, as I just said, and we see a child which we know is called Molly, and she's singing a song to like a British lady. I don't know if you call her Lord or whatever. I don't know. She's sorry, she's the wife of the governor, and they're just hanging out there. She's singing a song at her. And there's like these traditional paintings they do on their hands. Actually, they probably have like a proper name. I legit have no idea how they're called. I wouldn't even know what to look for. You probably know what I mean. It's like these paintings on their hands. They have like in red or sometimes blue even. But yeah, the oh, henna. Oh, okay. Yeah, those might be the ones. So yeah, the wife likes this, like, oh, this is neat, and she basically wants to take her home. So I don't know, she can sing and do these things all the time for her. And she tells that to her husband, who just comes back. He was like hunting a deer or something, and he's like, oh, look at me, I'm this lord man with my sniper rifle and cigar. And she's just like, I want to take her with me. And he's like, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Edward, which is their like assistant butler guy, throws some money on the ground, and then one of the Hindi tribes people says like, oh, take it. It's like appreciation for the nice song they sang. But then they realize they start taking Melly away, and she's like, oh shit, wait, actually she just bought your daughter. I'm sorry. That's like not what I thought this was gonna happen. So yeah, they give their like, I don't know, like 2 shilling or whatever those are, to buy their daughter, and just like, hey, wait, come back. That's not what I agreed to. Actually, I didn't agree to anything. But there you go. So and then they drive off, and the mother runs after them, stopping the car like somewhere on the road, and is begging them to give them back. And then get like one of the soldiers who was about to shoot her. The husband, the governor, gets out, stops, tells him that, oh, you should not waste this bullet on this, and I quote, brown rubbish, racism. And more precisely says that because this gun is made out of British metal, was shipped here on a British boat, was made by a full-paid British worker, this bullet is worth like a whole pound or something, or a whole, yeah, it's a pound here. I think it's shilling later. You should not, when this bullet leaves your gun, it would cost 1 pound, and that's not worth it. And it's like, god damn. So yeah, the guy takes like a big ass log branch thing from the side and just fucking knocks the shit out of the mum. And man, the visual on that is like crazy. It looks incredibly real. Like, I felt that one. I'm actually gonna show it to you because god damn. So look at this. You go like this, and like bam. It's like Jesus. I was like, god damn. That is some CGI work. Like, fuck me. Like, the visuals in this is whoo. That look beefy, and it sounds beefy too. It's crazy. I was like, oh, that gave me the flumbus. I was like, god damn. Also rewound it and watched it again because god damn, that looked real. And And yeah, this is basically our tie-in to the rest of the story already. And they even showed with like a little blurb that goes over the everything. Just says the story in the beginning. And yeah, they took Molly, and the rest of the movie is gonna be a mix of we have to get Molly back. I thought she was dead for sure. Yeah, me too. Actually, I think I wrote this down. Yeah, I wrote this down here that she died, but we see her later, so she seems to be fine. Probably just a massive concussion though. So yeah, absolutely insane the way that looks. And then we get the then we I don't even know how to explain it in short. We basically get the tone for what the action scenes and stuff are gonna be looking like, because those action scenes are insane, and probably one of the coolest, and like, I don't even know, introductions of like a character and how badass they are. Like, it's probably up there. This is like really crazy. And we are also gonna set the stage on how the powers are in this movie, because we're working with some crazy power levels in this movie, because our main characters are basically gods. And they stay true to that throughout the whole movie. So I'm fine with that. We get to see that pretty early on. So yeah, he's the fire. Let me just show this real quick. So yeah, this goes the fire. So he's the fire, and later on, Beam is the water. So yeah, and this is like one of our main characters. This is Raju, or later he's called Ram. It's kind of interesting because in the first parts of the movie, he's called Raju, and the other one is called Akhtar. Whatever the pronunciation is, I'm sorry. But later on, when they talk to each other and they trust each other, or they did start trusting each other, and then they tell each other what their secrets are. They tell each other their real names, which is Beam and Ram, if I'm not mixing those up right now. But yeah. So this is actually real nifty. Obviously, I know that because I watched the Corridor Crew video. But just so you can get I think this shows how well they work with the CGI. So if you look at this here, if you see this shot, like, it looks really good, like the way they're surrounded by all these people. So it was like really interesting because the way they did it, the people basically in the front row around this, I don't know how far in the front row, but at least the ones in this front row up here, those are like all real people. So they probably have like a good 200, 300, 400 people that are actually in front of this fence you can see in the front. And then they worked with CGI around that and did like the whole copy paste kind of dealio. But the way they did it, like with the fog, or the sand and all that stuff, it looks like really good. It looks like really real. And the way they explained in the Corridor Crew video, go check that out, by the way. It's like they explain it way better than I do, because, well, that's what they do. The way they determined that is the thing, because you see the fence later, you see the fence moving back and forth, and that way you can see, oh shit, this is like a real fence, they're moving back and forth. So yeah, like the front row is like all real people, maybe the second and third row as well, and after that they started adding in all the visual effects. There was over 6,000 extras in this movie. I believe it, because that's what it looks like a lot of times. So yeah, they did it's like really cool. Like, I think this is like one of the best ways to use CGI, if you just combine it with real things, and not if you put like a stupid head on someone because you don't know what the character's gonna wear at some point. But this is like one of the examples, like, yeah, this is probably the way you want to use CGI. It's like crazy good. Yeah, later on, even when he goes into the masses and starts beating up people, like the people around him are all real, and then they maybe stacked some other people on top of them, basically. So it looks like he's surrounded by all real people, even though he's probably like surrounded by like 20 people. So yeah, they put a lot of effort and thought in what they do in the CGI department. It's really incredible. There are some wonky shots here and there, and they even point that out. But especially like after the scene, we see some animals, and the way they animate the animals is actually like really impressive. It's really cool. So there you go. There's like your little explanation for the CGI. So this is the kind of CGI we're working with. Oh yeah, actually here you can see like the real fences. Actually, it was like the next scene immediately. So you can see they're moving this fence back and forth. Oh, hang on. There you go. See that? That's like all that's like all real people here, and then the people like in the back are maybe put in with CGI probably, and they rattle the real fence they have there. Like these people are obviously all real. So yeah, it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. I really like how they did that. It's good stuff. Anyway, we see they're surrounded. The mob is getting more and more rebellious, and they almost break the fence, even making like the soldiers wince, like they go back, it's like, oh shit, and they fall down. But it's kind of comical almost. But yeah, they try to show us like, okay, these soldiers are all like in fear, and but there's one guy who's standing. He keeps standing up. He's standing there. He does not budge one bit. And 1.1, the peeps outside throws a stone, hits a framed picture inside the room, which I think is a picture of the governor. Actually, I'm not entirely sure. And yeah, they're like almost breaking through. Like all the soldiers go down, and then we see our boy Raju. He's just looking at them. He does not give a shit. He's like, you don't scare me at all. Look at this glorious mustache, dude. Just look at this guy. He does not give a damn. It's like, I'm gonna stand here. This is my duty. So yeah, he's obviously an Indian guy who was working for the British Raj, and a lot of people don't like that because he's a traitor. Was a pick of King George V. That might be true. That's actually a good shout. That's probably it. Let me see if I can find a picture if it shows up. But yeah, he's like introduced. He's like surrounded by the. He's like framed by the fire and everything. So yeah, and then we see this guy throwing the stone, and ooh, I missed it. Hang on. Yeah, this is it's king. It's the king. Yeah, I thought it would be the governor. Yeah, you're right with the king. Powerful mustache division. And then so the leader of that outpost goes like, arrest that man and bring him to me, very reluctantly, because he realizes there's like a million people around him. And then this goddamn officer that we just saw, which we know now as Raju, he just fucking leaps into the masses. He puts his head down and he just does this. And then he just goes through the masses and starts beating the fuck out of people around him. Always looking at the guy who threw the stone. Like, he has a target, and he's gonna get there any means necessary. He just beats the piss out of everyone. It's amazing. And the way he has to struggle through the scene is insanely good. And they do like a really, really good job. You can see what is happening. And yeah, just look at this. Just look at all these people. Like, this is all real people here. Just surrounding him. Trying to stop him. Just look at this. There's so many people, and all he wants to do, he just wants to get that one guy in his red attire and get him back to his officer. And it's just really, I think it's really well made. He struggles. He just kind of makes his way through, and he has to start getting smart about it. Obviously, this is already where we see that he's like basically invincible. He gets hit with like a big ass stone and just goes down to his knees. Like, this would knock you the fuck out normally, obviously. But we're dealing with like high power levels here. This guy is no deal. And he gets like piled up and everything. And I really like how they do it here, because you can see, just look at this shot. I really like this shot, actually. So we basically have like an inside POV of the people that are piled up onto him. And he's like surrounded by people. And then you see him, he grabs like the ear of this guy. So he gets rid of that guy. And then he grabs like the hand of this guy over here and gets rid of his hand. And he, one by one, starts like poking the people away from him and just starts to injure them here and there, just to get free, just to be free of all these people. And he does like one by one. Like, I always assumed he would like do like a power up and just yeet them all away for some reason. But no, he has to fight his way out of this pile. And he has to beat like 5, 6, 7, 8 people before they need to let go of him, because the pile doesn't hold up, basically. So yeah, he grabs one in the ear, then he grabs the hand of the other one, and it's like one by one he just gets them away from him. He uses his stick to poke at the faces of people, and just it's so entertaining. I love it. And we already established, like, we're not really looking for realism here. Just let me make that perfectly clear. Like, these guys are just gods. Like, this guy and Beam later on, these two are like basically invincible against normal enemies, or like normal people. They're like super trained. They're like super good at stuff. Like action heroes, basically. They have like action heroisms, but they're not invincible. You know, they do get hurt here and there. Like, this guy is fucked up at the end when he comes back to this outpost. He's like he's like injured. He's got hurt. He got beat up, and you can see it. So yeah. As I said, eventually he gets away from the mob. He makes his way to a tower where he climbs up to. And yeah, I can only explain so much. You need to go the way to watch this. I can guarantee you'll find it on YouTube, because those scenes are like really awesome. I would be surprised if no one put those on YouTube. But yeah, at some point he makes his way to like like an outpost tower, like an overview tower. He climbs up, people climb after him, the tower breaks, and they land like on a little stone platform almost, like a little rock thing that goes up. And yeah, they just land there with other people. So mind you, at this point, he never let go. He never let his sight go away from this one guy he's looking for. He's always checking where he is. Like, oh, he's here. I need to make my way there. And then we almost get like a 300 scene right here, where he just pushes them down this hill. And it's really fun because he falls down that hill too, but he kind of holds on to 2 or 3 of those people, so he's surrounded by them and uses them as cushions, so he doesn't get hurt too much when he's down there. It might even be more than... No, it's 3 people, yeah. And every time we cut back to the commander here and there, where he sees the guy just fighting for the mob, and he can't believe what the hell is happening. Yeah, when he's down there, he can finally grab the guy, and he makes his way like slowly back to the outpost. He gets hit a bunch, but he holds on to the guy. He slowly makes his way to the gates of the outpost, always grabbing the guy. All the people are looking at him in awe because he can't believe what is going on. And he just yeets the people away. He makes his way all the way to the front door of the outpost, which is still closed. People are just looking. It's like, what the hell is going on? Then the masses start flooding him again, and he kicks down the scarecrow that the mob set on fire earlier or something, and make them scatter, giving the other soldiers time to open the door, let him in. He yeets the guy in right in front of the commander. He makes his way in. He is fucked up beyond belief. Like his shit is torn. He is bleeding from the mouth. He has the black eye. He's limping. And all he does, he goes up to this water because he's a fucking badass. He splashes his face a little bit, takes a deep breath, goes like this. Look at this guy, he's fucked up. Then he takes his head and goes like this. And it was like, oh shit. Like they're all scared of him now. And it's awesome. And then you can see, just look how many people he fucked up on his way. Could just see all these people lying around that he hit with his stick and whatever. And yeah, it's just like, okay, I know what I'm in for in this movie. I gotcha. I am entertained. You got my attention now. This was awesome. This was great. And he just goes back to his duty, standing in line. Yeah, there you go. This is the fire. This is Raju. Absolute Chad, as Snakes just said in chat as well. Absolute Chad, mad lad. Just goes back to his post. And yeah. This is the power level everyone should aspire to be. Absolutely. Oh yeah, the commander at some point says that he's more scared of that guy than the masses they were surrounded by. And yeah, it was just absolute badassery. Go watch this. It's great. It's awesome. We then cut to the barracks at Delhi. We see like a special officer ceremony. And only 3 of them have been deemed worthy. And our badass dude somehow isn't in that selection. Which fucks him off, obviously. And he lets his frustrations out in the gym. And basically anime punches a sandbag. So he hits the one side and like the other side explodes. And sand is flying out. And he starts yelling and just looks like an absolute mega Chad. And yeah, he's not happy. Not happy at all. And this ends the chapter, and we're getting led to the water. And yeah, it's just complete badassery. Stoke, he's doing his power stance even. Look at him, he's like, Gah! Fucking great. Fucking amazing. It's just so much fun. Remember when movies were just fun? This makes me this is a feel good movie. It's entertaining. Doesn't fuck around with anything. It's just, I'm here to tell a story and entertain people. That's what I'm doing here. And it's amazing. Love it. I love it. Okay, now I'm just gonna get a little loop-de-loop going here. There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Chat-tisms indeed. He really wants that promotion. Hell yeah. Then, yeah, we see that the kind of spokesman tells some British guys. I think it's Edward. Yeah, it's Edward, the assassin guy. He's like, yeah, you kind of want to return the girl that you took from that one tribe, because they have like this one guy who says he's the shepherd of his tribe, and he will basically do anything to get his missing lamb back. And it seems like he has begun his hunt. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be our other Chad superhero guy I think he basically says, oh, even if the lamb is in the fangs of a tiger, he's gonna rip the tiger's teeth out and get his lamb back. It's like, oh, okay. This guy means business, probably. I just get introduced that, yeah, this guy has started his hunt, so you probably want to do something. Then we cut to the forest outside of Delhi and see some Bavdu preparing for something, which is another really cool shot that they also show in the Corridor Crew video. And I will not hesitate to share as well. So we go like this, and I go like this. It just looks really cool. I really like that shot. It looks very visually impressive. So yeah, he pours some blood over his head. And we see some other guys who are setting up a trap, and it's there to capture some wildlife. Which I thought was probably for food. Later we see they're capturing all these animals to use for their attack plan. Because they use all those animals to storm a building later on, which is kind of fun. Then a guy is saying a signal for the buff dude. Yeah, he poured blood on his head. And their plan initially is to attract a wolf, which they do. And the guy starts baiting the wolf towards the trap. Like, he's like waiting for that wolf to appear. Oh yeah, and this is where we see the... Just look at this. This is a CGI face. No, not that one. That's a real face. I accidentally went too far. Hang on. Come on, dingus. Come on. I flumed up the timing. There you go. Just look at this. With the shadows and everything. Fucking gorgeous. Absolute amazing. I can't believe I fucking went too far again. I'm bad at this. But yeah, basically it's just really good. I'll show later on some other things because they get there. The wolf gets there. And then he starts running away to bait the wolf towards the trap they prepared. And he just runs away. You see him run away from the wolf. He's like sprinting towards the forest, which just looks pretty darn cool. It's just all visually just really impressive. Yeah, he just basically runs around. Then there was like this. Yeah, there you go. We see he sees like some paw prints on the on the ground, which looks like tiger prints, and that's exactly what they are because he's gonna get attacked by a tiger here in a second. And he just dodges it, just like, and then the wolf and the tiger crash into each other. And, oh, where's my mouse? And then you can see in the background, like, they start fighting in the background there. And just look at all the leaves and stuff, they're just flying around. Just looks really darn good. It's super short, unfortunately. But... goddamn, it just looks super impressive. I wish I had a better way to just show it off. As that, go watch that movie, it's awesome. But yeah, like you see the leaves flying around from the CGI when they fight and everything. What you call it? They just release dust into the air and everything. It just looks really good. And again, there's like some things where it looks kind of out of place, the CGI, even though it looks good. Just look at this. Looks really good. Yeah, thanks VLC. Good job. Yeah, they're like a little bit too short to show it off properly. But yeah, obviously short because CGI that good costs big money. Exactly. That's why it's so short. But yeah, it just looks really good. There's like one scene where the tiger starts running towards him, and it just looks kind of weird. Just kind of jitters around. You can easily miss it, but yeah, for most part, it looks like it's really good. They did a really, really good job. Probably like 90% of the time. There's like some shots that you can see. It's like, it looks kind of, could be worse. Oh, there it is, actually. I thought it would be later. I think it's worth showing off because it looks really weird. Hang on. Oh, there it is. Just look at this. Looks like... It looks like it's kind of wobbling left and right. But yeah, this is like the exception. You don't notice that kind of stuff for the most part. But this is like one of the things you can see really, really easily. But yeah, awesome CGI. And as the crew people said, it's like really hard to do this kind of CGI because obviously you don't have a reference of a tiger doing a back front flip flying around like it happens here in this scene from time to time. So yeah, keeping that in mind, it's still like super impressive. So yeah, he lures the tiger into the trap where they use a net that was intended for the wolf to capture, but that boy is much stronger than the wolf, of course. So the ropes break from their things in the ground, and our homie Akhtar has to hold these things, and he just gets scratched by the wolf, but he has to hold on to the thing so it can't escape anymore. He just does like big buff stuff, and he goes like just tries to get them back together. They have like hooks at the end, so he tries to put them together. But the tiger's just like going back and right, back, forth, left, right, and everything. But before he can hook them together, the ropes break all the way. And it's like, oh shit! And we saw earlier that one of his mates prepared like a pod that you can throw at the animal, and it has like a tranquilizer stuff in it. So he's like, quick, throw it at me. And he gets it and he just throws that thing right in the tiger's face. But, as we all know, tranquilizers don't work immediately. They take some time. So he has to hold that tiger in place, just showing us how fucking strong this motherfucker is. And he still gets like scratched on the back. It's like a struggle. And like the tiger just slowly starts fading until he can put them down. And yeah, they captured themselves a tiger, even though they planned for a wolf. So there you go. I just really like he has to wait for the tranquilizer to take effect because that's how tranquilizers work. And then he just kind of grabs the tiger's head, puts it out, and apologizes to the tiger, to him that he will use him for his needs in the future. And again, at this point, I thought it was for food, but they used those animals they caught for their little attack later on. So yeah, effects for animals look pretty darn good. Some dodgy movement here and there, but goddamn, not bad. Not bad at all. Oh yeah, the team talks to each other, and apparently they have been around for 6 months for Molly, and they wonder if she's even still alive. And we see that our dude Akhtar goes to the city, and there we see that he's hanging out with some family that took him in, and he's like no, not hanging out. He's helping out in a repair shop for like motorcycles and stuff. And yeah, some British fella, as we damn it, I forgot his name. We learn his name later, and he just can't get this thing to run. And our boy just looks at the thing. He's like, "Oh, you just forgot to put it in. It was still in reverse," and he just kicks it on once. And it was just a silly mistake he made. No, like no biggie. But guys, the British are comically evil in this movie. It's actually really funny how evil they are. They're like incredibly comically evil, and I kind of love it. I don't know why. It's cheesy evil, but I don't know. It just kind of fits in this scenario. I don't know. I don't know how evil the British were for real back in the day. I just have no clue. I'm sure there were some fucked up British people back in the British Raj, but goddamn, they're so evil. It's funny how evil they are, especially the wife of the governor. Dude, she says some funny shit. I'll get to that when it happens, but she says some evil fucking shit, and I was thinking about it. I just don't want to spoil it yet because it comes out of nowhere how comically funny evil it is, and I will show it because it's amazing. It's it's great. It's fantastic how evil she is. But anyway, the British guy has like a female friend with him, or his wife, and this makes her laugh. It's like, oh, you silly mistake. And this guy is so annoyed at this and evil, he starts beating the piss out of Akhtar. And he gets like a little stick or something, just beats him, but Akhtar doesn't do anything. And you wonder, why is he not fighting? We know he's badass. What is happening? He gets beat the piss out of him. Like, he doesn't even give a shit. He just beats him and beats him and beats him. And it's really cool. Because you know what? This guy is a good character. He's a hero character. So, I would like everyone to remind people of Boba Fett. When he beat up all these bikers in that bar. And no one cares about the repercussions for that. And how silly that is, because these guys are probably gonna die because Boba fucked everyone up. And they're probably gonna come back with reinforcements. And these guys are gonna get fucked up. What did our guy do? He gets pressed later by the family. It's like, why are you hiding your anger? Like, why didn't you fight back? Like, they know what his real identity is. And he says, oh, you have taken me in like I'm your own son. And in order to protect this family, he will not fight back and get rid of his cover. Because if he would fight back, they would come back to ruin your lives or possibly just kill you. So he takes the beating. So his family, quote unquote, like his now family in the city, will not be beaten up or fucked over by his mission that he does. Because if he would fuck that guy up, this whole family would be screwed. And because he's a good man, he won't fight back to protect them in the long run. Amazing. It's great. It's great. So yeah, there you go. There's your explanation for that. And this is how you make one of your characters good. You make him a good person. Yeah, there you go. I don't know what else to say. It's such a simple thing, but these days it's such a rare thing to see, which is a shame because it seems so sensical and logical for a hero character to do that. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna beat them up because I'm the big strong hero man. No, I'm not gonna beat these guys up because then the guys that protected me will not be protected anymore and they will fuck him up and they have repercussions. Because if you do a certain thing, there's got to be a thing coming back to you. Simple as that. Anyway. After we cut to a meeting of the British and discuss our boy Akhtar. Oh, by the way, at this point, we haven't heard a name for any of those two of our main characters. We don't even know their names yet. But I'm just gonna go with the names because it's easier for me to say. Yeah, we get to like a meeting of the British where they discuss the Akhtar, or the water dude as I call them here. And they have to find and apprehend him. But they got nothing on him. They don't know how he looks. They don't know how he smells. They don't know how what he's wearing. They have nothing. And we see the lady from the beginning says that whoever accomplishes this impossible task will be promoted to special officer. Which prompts our guy Raju, our other Chad, just asking, do you want him dead or alive? And the lady looks a bit suspicious. It's like, what's this Indian dude? Where does he want? Like, pfft, we're racist here. We don't want this Indian guy to do this mission. But then we see the outpost guy from earlier. It's like, oh, I can vouch for him. Like, if someone who can do it, it's probably going to be him. Like, this guy is insane. And she says, if you bring him dead, you will receive a bounty. And if you bring him alive, you will be promoted to special officer. And yeah, he's off to the races. We see him in like another office now. He talks to another one of his homies, and that they need to figure out where the rebel bases and stuff like that are. Yeah, basically they just start doing some preparation. You know, it's like figure out where these base people are. We see one of the one of Akhtar's guys team. He wants to sneak into the palace as like a worker, but he doesn't have an ID, and he gets beaten up. Another thing, they want to get into this big building, want to scout it out, and this guy's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna wear the workers' clothes, and I'm good to go." You know, like I look like them. I got the same things on. I got my little utensils going on. But then you see, it's like, oh, get your IDs out. It's like, shit, we need an ID. And they have like a little armband that shows them, it's like, yeah, you're a worker. Guys, security. Remember security? They don't check if he only has a face. They have an ID. They have like a simple system that works immediately. Because he gets checks like, oh, shit, forgot my ID at home. And because the British are evil as shit, this guard beats the piss out of the guy immediately. It's like, oh, I don't have my ID. Just starts beating the fuck out of him. But then we see the one good British lady, Jenny, introducing Jenny. And she's like, oh, it's fine. It's like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's like, oh, he forgot his ID. And it's like, oh, that gives you no right to treat him like an animal. And then Akhtar, our guy, gets kind of horny and decides that he has to befriend that girl. Because that also might get him inside this building as well. But he's also pretty horny for her. But yeah, she's like the one good English person in all of India, apparently. And she's right here. So yeah. We see Raju going to some kind of city meeting. And he just says, oh, why don't we just kill Governor Scott? And everyone in this building just starts laughing. It's like, haha, sure, why don't we just kill King George while we're at it? And they're just like moving along with their day. Because this one guy is just doing like a talk to everyone. But then there's one guy who fell for his trap and asked him, oh, hey, do you really want to kill him? Like, you want to... Might be able to help you. Like you can help you with the English, and this is one of our guys' team. Unfortunately for him, and it's like, oh, I can help you. And actually revisited this scene later on, but it's fine. So yeah, they go around. They make their way to one of those, like, I don't know, like a checkup place, like a general checkup thingy. And obviously Raju is an officer in duty and just kind of whispers to the guy. It's like, I'm on duty. Just do a basic check and just let us through, right? It's like I have to have this witness here, basically. So the guy does as he says. He goes to his officer guy. It's like, yeah, he's fine. He is actually an officer on active duty. And he gives him the guard comes back, gives him back his ID, and he salutes him. He's like, oh fuck. And our guy, like, you could see the guard's face, like, ah, shit, what did I do? I fucked it up. And then our guy just starts running away immediately. And we get this little chase scene going on. Because that immediately gives him away that he's someone on duty. So he starts running away. The fire guy, Raju, chases him, but at some point he loses him in the crowd because he makes his way to like a big crowd. And our guy meets back up with with our team. And Akhtar tells him, it's like, oh, you have to hide and you can only come out when I tell you to. And now I need to check again, to change again. Loop because now we get the scene that begins the friendship of our people, of our super chads. So let me just get this going to the right place, Reno. No, where is the scene? Sorry, because this movie is so long, it's kind of hard to pinpoint the scenes I want to. Because obviously the slide bar gets a little bit more sensitive because of that. 1 hour 10 minutes is maybe the longest Forged Metal holds the pace. There should be stuff coming up that gets us through stuff a bit faster, but there's a reason I started at 6 p.m. my time this time. And not at 8, because I had a feeling this might be a bit longer one. Because there's a bunch of things happening here, obviously. So yeah, right. So yeah, the water homie. I called him water homie in my notes because I still don't know his name yet. Tells him he has to hide. He can only come out when he tells him to. Our team is having doubts that they can fulfill the promise they made to the village to bring back Mali because they've been here for a while. A child is fishing for Akhtar because he gave him like some cash. It's like, oh, can you get me a fish because we're hungry. We see that a train arrives which is leaking oil. The sparks of the brake lights it on fire. The thing explodes. One of the oil tanks falls down to water and the child is getting yeeted off his little boat thingy. He's trapped by fire. And he's like, damn, we need to help them. Akhtar's like, come on, we need to help him. We have a rope or something. Just come on. And Raju is looking at the child, doesn't even care about the guy anymore. And he sees Raju and Akhtar meet their eyes for the first time. And Raj signals our guy just with his hands, like, yo, move around, come up here. We need to help this kid. I have a plan. Just points down, does some crosses or whatever with his arms. Just come around and help him. It's like, okay, I got you. I'm on my way. And we're like, oh, we're doing a thing. And I said, without words, just showing things, Raju had some plan. So Akhtar is grabbing a motorcycle, drives up there. Raju on his horse. I see his horse. He just found a horse there. And yeah, the he just prepares some rope, gets it all the way there. He's like, grab the rope. You go left, I go right. We jump down, basically grab the kid. So yeah, they both tighten the rope around their bodies. One jumps to the right, the other on the left of the bridge. So they always just yeet themselves over the bridge, using the momentum to swing towards each other below the bridge. On the way down, Raju grabs a flag, and Akhtar grabs the kid. So Raju is pulling the flag through the water, and when and Akhtar yeets the kid towards our Raju dude. So, and while this happens, Raju yeets the flag towards our Akhtar guy. And you're like, what the fuck are you gonna do with this flag? This is like, what is this? Is like patriotism going on? Why is this happening? He puts it through the water, so Akhtar can actually use the soaked flag to protect himself from the flames he swings back into, because they have to do one swing back. So Raju can yeet the kid onto ground while he's protected from the watery flag, and then they pendle back towards each other, and they grab their hands, and boom, a powerful ally. Our powerful Chads have been reunited. And there you go. They're hanging there. It's so crazy. It's awesome. I love every second of it. It's so good. There's so many things that they thought about while they were doing. It's like, oh wait, there's like explosions and the fire is going. It's like, oh wait, when he's penduling back, he goes into the fire. What do you do with this? Like, oh, there could be a flag on top, and he can just like drag it through the water, throw it at him, and there's like a little stick in it, so you can actually throw it, because if it's just a flag, it would just fly away. No, you can throw it with the stick, so there's weight to it, so you can grab it, and then just wraps it around him while he's penduling back, and he's protected from the fire. They pendle back to each other, hold their hands, and manly. It's so good. Yeah, smart dumb action is the best action, absolutely. Because you have these insane things that obviously wouldn't work, but it kind of makes sense in like a broad sense. Like, oh yeah, I can do this. Like, this whole plan is probably gonna fuck their bodies up incredibly, like with the whole thing that is happening. It's like, I don't know, it's fine. But yeah, this is the tone we have. So yeah, they hang there for a bit. And this is where they actually introduce their names to each other for the first time. Like, we're 38 minutes and 45 seconds in, and we now know the names of our characters. At least the names they use at the moment. It's because the fire guy is Raju, water guy is Akhtar. And then boom, title sequence, intro is done. This was all intro. It's amazing. Love it. It's so much fun. Absolutely incredible. Right. Another thingy. So I'm gonna put this next. This next should be go pretty quick. Like, the next 20 minutes is a lot of story beats until we get to the first dance and singing things, which is awesome as well. So yeah, they basically introduce each other to Raju, Akhtar, and then we get just a pretty long montage, probably like 3, 4, 5 minutes, where we see them bond, like having a friendship going on. Like, they eat together, they hike together, and just basically have a good time with each other, just while still both doing their job in the back of everything. Because we see in the montage they're still looking for their respective goals. Raju has like a drawn mugshot of the guy of our team that he tried to get in, and yeah, Raju's basically just running around showing everyone the mugshot. Have you seen him? He's showing it around town. Akhtar's trying to get inside the big building still. It's funny because the song that is playing basically says, oh hey, this is crazy how they met and they're bonding so nice. Oh man, I guess it has yet to be decided if this will end in bloodshed. Like legit, the subtitles for the song is what that says. Like, oh, this is like a big coincidence. This is insane. Like those things that actually work against each other. Hopefully, there's nothing bad's gonna happen. But it's another banger song. Like the songs in there, even though I don't know the language at all, I really like the songs. I think they're pretty banging. I liked listening to them. It was pretty cool. Really digging the Indian music scene apparently, or at least the ones in those movies. I don't know what they do, but yeah, they have like even invites them to the family. They eat and stuff. Yeah, very interesting. Oh, actually, that's an interesting little scene. That actually never gets mentioned again. That's just for you to figure out. So, as you can see here, they're like having food with each other. And if I'm not mistaken, you don't eat with your left hand in India because of reasons. I forgot which ones. I don't know. Maybe this is the one the left hand is the one you clean yourself with or something. And she says, "Oh, how many times do I need to tell you not to eat with your left hand?" And I thought this was the first seed of him being suspicious of him. But we later figure out that his brother always ate with his with his left hand. Oh, left hand is wipe butt hand. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, I gotcha. Clean yourself, wipe your butt. Basically the same thing. Because his brother, who got killed in an encounter with the British, he always got told, like, oh, you shouldn't eat with your right hand. And the brother's like, oh, but then I can eat faster and stuff. They don't bring it specifically up, but you can if you're taking care, paying attention, you remember that. It was kind of a neat little thing because he remembered his thingy, which is kind of nifty. So yeah, we got this little thing going on, and I'm just gonna go back. We see the guy who's hiding. He's like, oh shit! I only now realized that. Fuck. See, I just saw someone say there's so much that makes more sense in the second viewing. Because at the end, I forgot about this because I watched it like on 3 days. See here, this guy, he puts like meat in a thing. I only now realized that's to show us like, oh, they're actually feeding the animals they caught. There you go. That answers a question I had later on. So they had a place where they kept those animals. Nice. Oh, there you go. There's so much that makes more sense in the second viewing. Yeah, there you go. Mama Afro. We're on the same wavelength and have something happening right here, live. Good stuff. Yeah, I probably just forgot about that scene. Yeah. Oh yeah, after the montage, oh wait, the montage is still going. Yeah, it's probably like 3 or 4 minutes long. I'm just gonna skip through it. We got like tiny bits and pieces of backstory. Like Raju is looking at his. I think he's wearing it as a bracelet. I think, which is one part of a medallion he gave to his girlfriend that he left back where he originally came from, Sita, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So yeah, he has people waiting for him somewhere, and we haven't seen them yet. So just tiny bits of story going on. Just see them being frustrated, not being able to find their respective goals, even though one of them is already here. Even Rocky had a montage. Team America, good stuff. But yeah, after the montage, Akhtar asks about the mugshot. He's like, oh, what do you have there? And he wants to show it to him, but before he can show it to him, it gets blown away from the wind because they're riding on a motorcycle. And he got so close to actually showing it to him, but it just got yeeted away. But before they can go back there, they get distracted by Jenny. And Akhtar's just looking at her and he's like, oh man, I really want to talk to her. And then he sees her driving off. And Raju tells Akhtar, you need to make it happen. And they drive in front of her. And before they do that, Raju grabs some nails and he drops the nails on the floor to make her vehicle stop so they can talk. Raju is a wingman you want to have on your side, dude. He's a good old wingman. I love when he says, yeah, why didn't I show you? Yeah. That's true. They foreshadowed us sitting on the shoulder scene too. They do, yeah, they do. They really do. So I basically tells him, I was just sitting here, he's gonna stop here. It's like, why would she stop here? Are you insane? And then she does because he put the nails on the ground. It's so funny because Roger is like being a great wingman. Because he translates every time Akhtar's about to answer with something happening. He's like, oh, she asked this and this. And Akhtar's like, nah. And Roger's like, no, you're gonna answer like this. So yeah, he just is the wingman. He makes them talk to each other basically. So they end up going to a market. I was like, oh, how long is it gonna take me to fix it? He's like, oh, I don't know, it should probably take like 15 minutes. And Roger just tries to say, oh, it's probably gonna take about 5 hours. It's fun stuff. So yeah, they go to a market, but obviously, I never mentioned that actually, because I'm just talking about the movie, how it happens. But there's obviously like a language barrier that gets like very prevalent here, because she can only talk English and he can only talk, he talking Akhtar and she, Jenny. They only can talk their respective languages, so they just kind of try to communicate like this. Just kind of fun to see. But yeah, they talk a little bit, and Akhtar's like, "Oh, you have like a really big house," and she's like, "Yeah, it's a big house, but it's not really a home." Basically, telling us she's not super comfy here, because she probably doesn't agree with what the British are doing in this scenario here specifically, because they are being dicks. And then she's about to pick up a dress, and Akhtar just goes like, "Ah, you silly woman. This is like for a child." He's just trying to gesture like, "Oh, this is for a child." He's like, "Oh no, it's not for me. It's for a girl that's staying with us. She's called Melly." And he's like, "Oh shit, they still have her. She's still there." And he has like a little glimmer of hope. And this basically lights a new fire in Akhtar's soul. And this is like one of the things I don't really know what's happening. He just goes up to some guy who makes bracelets. He's like, "Hey, can you go away? I need to make a bracelet myself." And he's like, "Yeah, sure, go right ahead." And he like super quickly prepares like a really good looking bracelet. With like inscriptions and everything. I mean, you can't see how long it takes, but I was just shocked how quickly he did it. Like, we see like 2 minutes maybe of him doing some stuff, making a bracelet. It's like, "Oh, here, take it. This is probably gonna go great with the dress." So yeah, it just kind of makes that happen. There you go. I don't really have anything to say. It's very quick, and he does it from like hot stuff. I don't know. This is probably like something you could actually do. I just have no clue about this. This looks like a street thing, or a street merchant kind of dealio that would do that, I think. But yeah, he makes the bracelet. And he's like, "Yeah, this is gonna go great with the dress." And obviously, as we see in a little bit, they it's from Mally, and she's gonna recognize probably like the inscriptions on it, and it's like, ooh, they're coming to get me, fuck yeah. Yeah, see a British soldier coming to pick up, and she invites him to a party, and she would like to see him again, and he has an invitation to some club, which is in the big house. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if she's already horny for him as well or something. Cause I find it a little bit weird. She just invites him to a party after just hanging out with someone for a while. Maybe he's like the only nice person she's talked to since she got here. I don't know. Would have been nice to see them hang out like once or twice more before that. I don't know. It was kind of quick. I don't know. Maybe she's just horny. I don't know. Anyway, we see Molly getting. She's the only plot. She's super nice. Yeah, that's probably what I came up with. Then again, this is like the kind of issues we have with this movie. Mostly like small things. From what I could tell. If we go back to having those issues with movies for the most part, you know what, we'd be fine with a lot of movies these days, or media in general. Anyway, we see Molly getting the things Jenny bought her, and she's getting very excited by the, not a bracelet, it's a bangle, if I think that's actually what it's called, because she recognizes, she's like, oh shit, thank you. Because she's the big wet. The big wet. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Raju and Akhtar just hanging out in Raju's place. And he talks about the little trip. And he's like, oh, yeah, she invited me to a thing. And it's like, oh. It's just funny because Akhtar keep calling her Mrs. and stuff. And she says, oh, don't call me Mrs. It's just Jenny. And he remembered the whole sentence that she said and thought it was her name. And then Roger's like, no, it's just Jenny. It's like, oh, that's way easier. It's just funny with how they play around a bit with the language barrier. It's kind of fun. But yeah, they realize the party is today. Actually, it's right now. It's like, oh, fuck. And they were about to leave. It's like, you want to go like this? It's like, wait, what's wrong with that? And then Roger dresses him up all nice, makes his hair and stuff. Gives him some nice clothes to wear. And then they go to the party. And this is where a little dance-off is going to happen. And it's pretty great. It's pretty great. Womplings. Boom. So yeah, they go to the party. They just get like a little wide shot of them appearing. Jenny sees them and I don't know, is still horny. He's like, oh, look at that handsome man over there. And yeah, they talk a little bit. This this guy's trying to impress her, just like, oh, I can dance all these things. So yeah, Jenny is basically forcing him to dance, and he's like, I don't know how to dance this, and he just shows him how these normal dances go. It's like one step and back and forth. But then this evil British man is like, come here, you other lady that I actually don't care for. We're gonna have a dance too. And he trips Akhtar. What does he say? Force him to dance. Oh yeah, I just wrote that we get a crazy fucking dance video after a British guy trips Akhtar and being a dick. He goes like, oh, I can dance disco fox and this and this and this. And it's like, oh, what dances can you do? And Akhtar's like, damn it, I don't know what to do. And then Raju, being the absolute Chaddisman of them. Also, before we go there, it's like all the British people here are like super dickish, but only the men Only the men will be like, look at this silly Indian man. He can't dance to save his life. Look how civilized we are and what classy dances we have. But not just sitting there like, oh fuck this, I don't even understand what he's saying. Like, why is he being such a prick? And like all the men is like, yeah, let's go. All the women's like, oh no, that's so mean. And then Roger sees this like, okay, we're gonna show them. Because he starts manning the drums and he goes like, and I wish I could just show the whole thing because it's fucking awesome. I love every segment because Akhtar Ibi is like, oh shit, yeah, I know exactly what you're doing. And they just nod to each other like the bros they are. And then they just start going for it. And it's like, god damn, this is really fucking cool. Because I thought when I thought this is gonna go, Roger gets there. It's like, oh, we're gonna show you how our people dance. He's like, what the fuck is happening? What are you talking about? And then they start singing, and we basically get like a crazy ass music video. You could show this in itself on MTV and stuff, because it's basically just a music video. Like they teleport from here to there and start dancing and doing all this stuff, and they go just fucking nuts, and I love it. It's just fucking love it. I wish I could just sit back for like 5 minutes and just watch the whole thing with you guys and just talk about it, how great it is even more when it's done. It's like, it's really cool because they're all having a good time. And basically all the Englishmen are getting mad because they're not getting any pussy this night, because those two Indian men are like way cooler and chattier than them and can dance and are nice and fun and are not dicks. And just go fucking wild with those dancing. It's awesome. I really do love it. I actually got to watch it again after I finish the stream just to have another look-see at it. It's just great. Gory way to watch this as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this is out there as its own music video that was shown on TV in India, because this is great. This is just good fun. It's funny because when I thought it's like, oh, they're gonna do like dancing, and I think it's probably gonna be cringe, and I'm probably not gonna like it. It's gonna be out of place and weird. But no, they get basically into a dance battle and they absolutely annihilate those Englishmen and get all the pussy at the end. It's awesome. Because all the women are like super into it. And English is like, no, you're supposed to be on our side. And they just teach them the dance. And like all the women just do the dance with them. And it's like, oh, it's great. I only have good things to say about this scene. It's fucking awesome. And it goes like all the way to the end where they do this whole this leg movement thingy, and apparently it becomes like an endurance kind of battle because everyone's doing the thing and people dropping left and right like flies until only Raju and Akhtar are left, and they do like the little dance where they do like this very aggressive back and forth with their right leg, and people are just dropping left and right because they can't do it anymore. And there's only Raj and Akhtar are left. And they just go crazy. They do it more and more and more. And you can see, they're like in a competition now. Even the British dudes are into it. Damn. Yeah, they're like, I'm going to challenge them. And then only this big last guy is left. And he trips at some point. He fucks up. And all the men is like, no, we lost against them. Fuck. And then Raju and Akhtar realize, it's only us two left, eh? And they're like, fuck yeah, let's go. We gotta go until we drop. We can't do it. Then they just go crazy with the dance. And all the women's like, oh yeah, I'm so wet. And you go like, yeah, go, 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 go. And then Raju again being the absolute bro wingman of the century, sees that Jenny wants Akhtar to win. And he's like, I probably can go way longer, but I want my bro to impress the woman because I'm a goddamn wingman. That's what I do. And he just drops, pretending like he can't do it anymore. And he goes like, my leg, oh no. And Akhtar's like, yeah, I've won, woo! And dude, Raju is like the mega bro, exactly. He's so great. Awesome. Fucking fantastic. I love it. And I was able to talk throughout the whole scene, even though I want to skip it. But I just can't stop saying good things about it. I just really like this. It's really cool. It's really, really nifty. Let me go up until a certain point so I can just talk through it. Because in the next 15 minutes we go to our first low point of the movie. Anyway, we see Raju is carrying Akhtar because he was going so hard he couldn't even stand anymore. And then Jenny is come around. He's like, oh, is he alright? He's like, oh yeah, just a bit exhausted from all the dancing. And Raju asks Jenny, oh, can we give him a ride to his place? He's like, oh yeah, sure, absolutely. And he's like, hey, you wanna grab a coffee at my place? He's like, oh yeah. Well, maybe that would have just been my reaction. It was like, oh shit, yeah, nice. Let's do it. That sounds awesome. And while they're driving away, obviously Akhtar is crazy excited. Disbelief is like, oh man, I can finally get to Mali somehow. And we see Raju looking at them driving away, and he sees like some green paint on the car. There's like some thing on it that's green, and he remembers when the guy grabbed him that he's looking for. It's like, oh man, he had green paint on his fingers. And me, who I am and what I do, is like, was there green paint on his fingers when we first see this? And I went back, and you can check for yourself. It's at 3104. Look at this. This is what we call continuity in the business. I hope you can see it here too. You see this? There is green on his finger. Continuity. Is that so hard? Shooting scenes for stuff that happens later, and keep in mind that we establish a thing there, and you go back and you see the green on his fingers. It's like, yeah, good job. That's how it's supposed to be. And I can't believe I'm oppressed by this, because this is how it's supposed to be when you do shit like this. But a lot of media these days doesn't care about that stuff, because they hide the fingers, or they won't show it or whatever. But here you can check back, see there's some green on his fingers, like, good job, I'm proud of you. This shouldn't be impressive, but it is, because we're in dire times. Anyway, he remembers that there's the green stuff on his finger, and he tells us they go to where Painter is. Like, oh yeah, he's had green things on his green paint on his finger, so he's probably here in this painter's district. Go have a look, see around, and see what you can find out. And his guy, which is apparently his uncle, starts asking around and immediately stumbles across the guy he was looking for, because he's painting stuff. He's like, oh shit, they're coming for me. And he starts running away, but this time he gets captured by Raju immediately. And he's in for a bad time. Then we cut to Jenny and Akhtar. They drive right into the big boy house that Akhtar wanted to be in. And this is where you see the security at the entrance is very high. It's like double big doors. They have to drive into the first thing. The first door closes. The second one opens when the first one is closed again. It's like, oh yeah, it's great security. Yeah. And we go back in and see it's like, oh, there's a fuck ton of soldiers in here. He's like, oh yeah, there's going to be hundreds of soldiers here because Governor Scott is coming back in 2 days. He was knighted in England, and they want to make sure everything is going to be all right when he's coming back and everything is going smooth. So now we established there's hundreds of soldiers in here now, which unfortunately gives us a little problem later in the next action scene, I'm afraid. But I'll talk about this when I get there. And we see the guy that beat up Akhtar earlier in the movie is at the entrance of the house and wants to stop Akhtar. Oh, he's called Robert. There you go. This is where I wrote it down. He's called Robert. Jenny tells him, he's like, oh no, he's he's here as a friend. Because he's like, oh, let me show him the back entrance because he's not allowed through the front entrance because he's a servant. He's like, no, he's a friend. You leave him through. He's like, fine. So yeah, goddamn racisms again. So yeah, they go inside. Jenny tries to talk to Akhtar, but he still can't understand her. She tells him he liked to dance and everything, just have some bands. But then we hear Mali sing. And he's like, oh shit, she's here. She's actually here. And he's like, he's like grabbing his tummy. He's like, oh, you hungry? Let me get something for you. And Akhtar is going around for a scout in the hallway. We cut to like Robert. He's like approaching the place where he is because he finds Mally behind some bars. He's like, oh, please take me back here. She's like in tears. He's like, no, I can't do it now. I'm coming soon. But there's way too many guards here. It's like, would be nonsensical to get you out here because this is gonna fuck everything up. And then he starts to sing like a small little song to calm her down, and he leaves her for now. But yeah, as I said, we see Robert approaching Akhtar, does get away. And back at home, he talks to his mother. So Akhtar talks to his mother, like the family that took him in. And it's like, oh, I can't understand how these English can do this. And if they don't know how painful it is to take a child away from its mother. And this is where he decides that it's time to get her back and attack. And he asks where Lakshu is, which is the guy that has been captured by Raju. I think this is the first time we hear his name. At least it's the first time I noticed his name. So yeah, Akhtar is like, okay, we have to attack now. We've been silent for too long. So yeah, there we go. Hang on, I'm just catching everything. I like how I wrote something down here with how Raju hasn't uncovered Akhtar yet, but I just misremembered it, so I'm just gonna delete this because he tries to ask him about Lachu pretty early on after the after the montage, and I think in my mind it was way longer, but never mind that. Now that I see it again, it's like, no, it's fine actually. It's not that big of a deal. I believe he said, "Don't these white women bear children?" I think he does says that actually. Yeah, he does. So yeah, he then decides it's time to attack, as I said, and we cut to Raju torturing Lashu. He's like beating the ever-living toss out of him. Just beats his leg over and over, and he's like, "No, I'm not gonna tell you where he is. Fuck you." But But he stops when his bracelet falls off. And he looks at it, he's starting to have doubt. And this is where the first time we get a little flashback scene of him. No, not a flashback, we get a scene of Sita, which is his girlfriend, as I said earlier. And she's looking for Raju coming back, or Ram, as we now get to know his real name. Because the villagers ask her if she's heard from Ram at all. Has he wrote a letter or everything? Like, I don't think he's coming back. And they wonder if he even remembers them, or the village, or even her. And she holds the other half of the necklace and holds it tight, still believing that he will be back, remembering his promise. Back to Lachu at nightfall, he does like a little tap on the floor because he sees a snake, and he just kind of captures it with his hand. See, Raju is coming back, and he tells him that this is going to continue. Like, this pain is going to continue until I get an answer. And he grabs Lachu and sees like a braided rope around his chest. Like, oh, what's this? This is weird. This is going to be important in a little bit. But Lachu kind of yeets the the snake over his shoulder with one hand and makes Raju lets Raju being bit, and he's like, man, this is a poisonous snake. You have 1 hour until you die. And he's like, okay, shit, you got me. And he cuts Lachu's rope, tells him it will take him a day to get rid. It will probably take you around the day to get rid of these knots, and you should live your life. And then he just leaves. So it seems like he never had the intention of killing him. Obviously, torturing is not that great, but at least he didn't want to kill him. And we start to see him having doubts on what he's doing, and these are just gonna manifest more and more as time goes on here. We see he's like starting to leave. We see the poison starts to take effect, and we cut to Akhtar and the rest of the crew. They make like final plans for the attack. He tells one of the guys to make sure to listen to the door sounds so they know when the second door opens. And we see like Raju see him stumbling around in the back. He doesn't notice him at first, and they go back. They start going, so go check the truck, go check for the doors. And Roger is just kind of doing some taps on the floor, like makes noise. And Akhtar goes back, like, oh shit, what's this? And he takes him he checks out what the noise is from. And it's like, oh shit, you were bit by this snake that we get to know the name. I forgot to write down, but he was bitten by this poisonous snake. We need the antidote quickly. And he tells the other ones to get the ingredients, which are handily very close by, just like at the end of the street, like one of those routes, and I need some coal and stuff. I guess that's pretty lucky. Not too hot on that. That's just a bit too coincidental. Like, it's very, very close. Like, he grabs it just at the end of the road or something. Just smooshes it together, does a little prayer for him. And yeah, they give him the antidote. And yeah, they give it to him. And then Akhtar removes his thread that they call the holy thread. And Raju is like, oh shit, that's the same one that Lachu had. And he's like, oh fuck no, not my best friendo. And and Akhtar is like, oh no, one of his guys like, oh, don't remove the holy thread, it's gonna make problems. And Akhtar's like, I need to save my brother, he's gonna need it more than I do. So just putting it around him as in like a spiritual sense to give him like guidance from the gods, if you will. And this whole time he calls him brother. Like, they're very close by now, as shown from the montage and all they've been through right now, just on a personal level. Akhtar brings him home, lies him down, and Roger, now knowing he's the one he's been looking for, tries to stop him, but he's way too weak. And this is where I need to reset my loop-de-loop. Oh, hang on, that's not correct. Akhtar goes on to tell him the truth of why he's here. And we learn that his name is actually Beam, and he's the son of the Gons. I think that's the tribe's name. We even get an explanation to why he didn't ask Raju for help. Because it falls in line with his character, as we learned earlier. He really wanted to, but he didn't do so because he didn't want to put him in danger. And it's like, yeah, that checks out. Good job. That is a very good reason why Beam did not ask him for help, even though he trusts him with his life. He just did not want to put him in danger. And he tells him that they will go tonight. He didn't tell because he didn't trust him. He didn't tell him because he didn't trust him, but just not to put him in danger. And goes on to say, if he dies, I still have your friendship, and this is much more precious than my life. And that he then can die in pride. It's like, oh, damn, good stuff. They start their attack. We even see the enter take effect. Raju doesn't go immediately after him when he's getting better. He just starts punching back again. He's like, shit. There's one weird continuity tism. He falls like to the left of the screen of the bed, but when we cut back, he lies on the floor in front of the bed. So there's like a a small little continuity tism. So he starts punching back. He's like punching the bag. He starts punching the wall. He's like, no, why is it my friend? He's like obviously distressed this has happened the way it did. And we get a little glimpses of a flashback that will be fleshed out more in a little bit here. And then we get the next action scene. Come on. There we go. We get the next action scene. The assault on the big boy building. The grand attack on the big house, as Beam calls it. As said, the one guy is listening to the entrance, waiting for the second door to open. When the second door opens, they use their truck, crash through the first door, and can just drive through the second one. They yeet one of the cars. And they just kind of, drift to the sides, and we see Beam getting uncovered and just starts jumping out with all these animals, and those animals are here to they're here to create a distraction, if you will. It's actually, we just have to assume they hit those on a remote location or something. As I just said earlier, they show that they're hidden in a thing, and they even feed them. So there you go. Yeah, all these animals that we keep, including the tiger, just yeet out and start causing havoc around this place. Akhtar, or Beam now, comes jumping out, starts beating up some guys. All the animals distract all the soldiers, but Beam still has to dodge the animals here and there. We see Robert yeeting Molly into the house and grab the key to the house. But he hates Beam so much. Oh, actually, before that happens, he's confronting Jenny. Almost punches in the face, like, "Oh, you just get in the car. I don't have anything against you. You're fine." So yeah, Robert takes the key, puts it in his like wrist holder, key holder. Wait, what are you saying, Zix? Can Chet tell me who kidnapped little girl? Child's father was? Wait, what? Who do you mean? I don't think we heard who little girl child's father is. Where the fuck was he? I don't think we see the father of her at all, right? No, I'm actually not sure. I don't remember her father at all. I think even later on when they get reunited, it's only the mother. I think he's just not around anymore. I think he might be dead or something. Because we just legit just don't see that father figure at all, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think they're just implying that the father is dead or something. Because I don't remember a dad being around at all. I would need to check back though, to be 100% certain, but I don't remember a father at all. So yeah, Robert is going towards Beam. He charges at him, and he gets just beaten up to shit. Like, he has no chance. He just gets his comeuppance finally. But yeah, Beam just fucking yeets him across. He like at one point he yeets him onto. Oh yeah, no, he spikes his arm onto a deer's antlers, and just gets flopped around. Looks very painful. Yeah, he beats him up pretty badly. He grabs the key and makes his way to the entrance. But now Raju finally arrives with a burning horse carriage with 4 horses on them, and he even shaved, apparently. Oh, did he? No, wait, I think that's the next scene. The next scene we see him, he has shaven. So he releases the horses, and he flips over the cart. Look at this. And we get like this shot going on. And Rogers appears as the absolute badass that he is. Yeah, Roger put on his uniform, anything, and Beam can't believe it. Because Raj wants to arrest him, but Beam can't believe this is happening. He's like, "Well, you really a police officer?" It's like, didn't do anything wrong. I told you the story just now. Like, what's going on? And while Beam is pleading, he tells him at least look at my eyes. But Roger just can't seem to do it. He wants to do his duty, but he just can't face his friend. He can't look him in the eyes. Just struggles to get him in. While struggling to arrest him, he beats him up a little bit until a point where Beam has to has to let go of the key and just falls into some sewers or something. And this is where Beam gets pissed and they start having like a proper fight. Raj just plays him, is like, "Come on, just give up. Like, I want to get you in there alive." And they just kind of fight each other. Beam just goes absolute beast mode. He just throws him around. It's just a fun fight to watch because Raju is like way more quick and technical, and obviously trained in combat by his officership, whatever you want to call it. And Raju is just like super strong. So if he hits, like, it hits like a truck. He just gets yeeted when he gets hit. To be fair, Beam gets yeeted as well. So they have their little fight. It's a visually very nice fight. again, because you can see what is happening. It's very well choreographed. Very nice, very nice. What happens next? Oh yeah, at some point Raju has a lit torch, or 2 lit torches, and Beam gets a hose that with running water, and we get like a nice little visual of them both, each surrounded by fire or water respectively. Just a nice little thingy. Let me see if I can grab the visual here. And yeah, there you go. You have like you have the water tisms going up with him, like all the water hoses, because, you know, he represents the water. And then we cut over to Raju, who is surrounded by all kinds of fiery stuff. And they charge each other. Yeah. Oh yeah, they just jump onto each other. They brawl a little bit more until Raj has to defend himself against a lion or a tiger. I think it's the tiger from earlier. I don't think it's an extra lion. And he has to punch with like a flaming brazier or something. So he grabs like this thing and just does this. Bam! Yeah, it's the tiger. He just fucking knocks that thing in the face. Like the absolute Chad he is. Yeah. While this is happening, that gives Beam time to climb the inner portion of the house to get there. So, here's my problem with this. And it's probably pretty obvious. So we established earlier that we have hundreds and hundreds of soldiers around here, and we don't have nearly enough animals here to distract all of the soldiers that they established they're here. They do make sure to show that there's carnage happening in the background and people running around helping other people. But I'm pretty confident to say there's probably still a decent chunk of soldiers here with guns that could just shoot Beam on the spot. You have to keep in mind, it's only the animals and Beam who are doing carnage here. Like, the other 2 of the team, they just fucked off, I think. They just got him in there and he's just doing the fighting. So a lot of the animals would be dead by the time now, because remember, there's some deers in there and stuff. Those probably wouldn't even fight. They would probably just try to get away. We do have, I think, a cheetah, a tiger, a wolf, and some other, like a bear or something. Oh yeah, and civilians would probably get killed by the animals. There's probably a bunch of civilians in there as well. Didn't even think about that, so there you go. So I think they kind of went too overboard with the hundreds of soldiers that are supposedly be in here. I don't believe they're all occupied with everything, because we see there's people with guns in there, and they probably killed a bunch of them already and can now take care of Beam. So yeah, again, still super fun to watch, but it's a bit of an issue for sure. Especially because they went out of their way to say that there are hundreds of soldiers to make sure everything goes smoothly. So yeah, I just want to make sure to bring that up for sure. But yeah, Beam makes his way to the roof, is followed by Raju, who beats him down and has the chance to stab him in the neck at some point. But he can't do it because he still sees Beam as his friend. So because he stopped, Beam overwhelms him and stabs him with like some spiky rocks he has in his on his gear, if you will. So he has like between his fingers, like he's Wolverine, and just stabs him in the heart area, I think. But they don't go super deep. Like I don't think they would reach the heart, if I'm not mistaken. So he's not like gravely injured. At least I think that's what they're trying to do. I could be completely wrong, and they might be longer. I'm not sure. But yeah, he does get injured. And then Beam tries to run down in the middle of the thingy into the house area. Wait, I feel like I skipped on. Oh yeah, he uses the holy thread Beam gave him earlier, and you kind of use it like a lasso, like a cowboy's rope thingy, and he just uses like a whip. Actually, I think it's more close resembling, and he holds him up where he's down, tells him, okay, surrender, because if you don't, Mali will die. And we see Governor Scott aim his rifle at Mali, and Beam just starts beating the shit out, starts beating his face, Raju's face. It's like, just let me go. He just starts yelling. And yeah, but he won't let go. And we see like some blood going through Raju's eye. And then we get interval. This movie actually has a pause in the middle. So yeah, we get a little cliffhanger there. And there you go. This is the second big action scene in the movie. Yeah, pretty nifty, except from the things I already pointed out. And because we're only halfway through the movie, I'm just gonna go along and I don't know, talk more about the movie and pick up the pace maybe. I don't know. It's going pretty good, pretty well. It's lots of things happening in this movie. Let's see, let me get. Oh yeah, we get like a whole backstory scene going on. I think the next half an hour I can probably go through pretty quickly up until the end of. Yeah. I say quickly. As quickly as I can be, I guess. Oh, whoops. Intermission. What? We don't get an intermission? No, you don't get one. You have to stay here with me. So yeah, we then go back to the movie. The British are now looking for the rest of Beam's team. Beam has obviously been captured now. Raju has now been named a special officer, meaning he did bring in Beam, so we have confirmation for that. And we see him checking out the armory, and he grabs like a rifle and starts shooting some targets. And this is where we get the backstory of Raju and see what he's up to. So yeah, we get a flashback scene of Raju. He's being trained as a kid, and the boss of that training camp explains. The boss of the training camp, which is also his dad, explains to them what the worth of the bullet. Explains to them the worth of the bullet after the trainees demand real rifles, as they only gotten these training dummies. You can see here, and. The boss man explains in his own flashback, so now we have a flashback in a flashback, say what? That when he was in the British military, he was serving under Governor Scott, which probably wasn't a governor back then, telling a soldier about the worth of the bullet. He's about to use a 6 shilling, and he wouldn't want. Sorry. He wouldn't want it to go to waste on this peasant stock, as he says. So basically the same explanation as we had before, but this time with shilling, because it's a bit earlier in the British timeline. So we're tying that back to the beginning when he said that when they beat up Mali's mum, that made the boss man leave the British army during night just taking one rifle and some ammo and going to form this rebellion he's training right now. And he says they will only get a real rifle if they can be sure they would not miss a single bullet because they only have a handful. And just on the side note, the small training montage that we see there looks pretty well choreographed and executed. Looks pretty nifty. And yeah, we see Raju, or Ram, which is his actual name mostly. He's hanging out with Sita and his own family, just establishing they've been friends forever for a little bit. They go back to training. We see that Ram is hurting when he's being checked on by his dad. And he's like, oh, what's wrong? And he's like, oh, I shot your weapon this night. It's like, oh, this is not a game. This is not a toy, whatever. And then Sita's like, no, I gave it to him. But you should see how he shot. He shot really well. You should check it out. And then we see that he nailed a shot from super duper far away, straight in the middle of this target. And now the boss knows that he has found the weapon he was looking for, who is his own son. Then they go back to the village when they're about to say that he's the shooter. They need to maybe win this rebellion or do some progress. They get attacked by the British. And sorry, drink something. Yeah, not surrounded. They get like attacked by the British. They kill a bunch of the villagers. The bossman tries to fend them off as good as he can. People are in cover. One of the guys says that they have to fight, but the bossman is like, no, this is not the time to fight. We need to get the villagers away from here, from safety, and tries to fend them off as good as he can. He kills a bunch of them, does some jumping and shooting things as well, because he's a badass too. Like he shoots and cycles to the next bullet in one jump, basically killing 2 people in one jump, which is badass. And then he takes pretty solid cover and kills a bunch of them, but he starts running out of bullets. So he's like behind this cover, can't really do anything because he's running out of bullets that he has on him. He's like, shit, what am I gonna do? Then we see Ram coming sprinting, bringing him the ammo box. The bossman kills a couple of more soldiers, but our British soldiers are actually not retarded because they change their position. So they get the high ground so they can look over the cover and shoot our bossman 3 times. Shooting one of his fingers, his back, and I think a graze in the face or something. And he's like, goddamn. Tells his son to stay down, but eventually it's like, oh man, you're probably the best one to shoot this right now, and you're the only one here. So here, have this gun, start shooting them. So he starts shooting, starting with the guys at the high ground, which makes the British take a bit more of cover, and the bossman signals the rest of it just to run away. And they all start running away, but his family starts running away last, which makes the brother and his mum vulnerable, and they both get shot and killed. Ram is obviously in tears, telling his dad that they need to do something. But Ram looking visibly distressed by this, but he's like, if we just go out there, we just get killed as well. We need to do something against this. So he keeps his cool and just tells Ram to reload and shoot more, basically. Yeah, it's pretty badass. You can see he's not happy at all, but they need to do what they gotta do, unfortunately. So there's no time to be sad about this happening. And they can't see Ram behind the cover because he's a child here, so he's tiny. He can't be seen very well. And at some point, the commander decides that they had already too many casualties and they have to fall back for now. The boss man asks him if he understands that if you can make them fall back with only one gun, imagine what they could do if everyone had a gun. And you have to promise me that you bring everyone in this village a gun. The whole rebellion needs a gun. And he promises, and then we go back to Raju, back on the shooting range, shooting his gun. Because now that he's a special officer, he has availability to this gun, to these guns in the armory, and can hopefully finally do something with this rebellion. And I think it's actually a really good flashback scene, because we don't only do anything we don't only explain that Raju has this backstory, he has this greater mission going on, and he's been doing this under British. He went into the British Empire's system so he can become one of these special officers to get entry to these guns. And this is why he was so keen to become a special officer, because now he can be a deciding factor with these kind of things. And we see later he tries to siphon weapons from the British and send them to certain paths. But they take the time to give the dad a character as well and see where his determination comes from. It's like, even in this scenarios, you have to stay course to your mission. And yeah, it works very well. I think I'm pretty happy with this scene. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Very happy with this. After we see Raju finally sending a letter to Sita telling her that the goal has come close for everyone to have weapons now, that he's able to send stuff around with his special officer's privileges. But he also regrets that there it is, he's starting to doubt the cause and what he has to do for it. Because he also writes to Sita that he regrets that he has to harm the people that he is trying to free. And he had to betray his closest friend, and he's now wondering if he is losing his way, and he wished that she would be with him. Because now he's having doubts. Imagine that. Flawed character. Character contemplating his actions, wondering if he's even doing the right thing anymore. Unheard of. Absolutely unheard of. Crazy. And this has been going on since he figured out Beam is the one he's been looking for, and he's been really good to him. So yeah, there you go. Character development. Crazy stuff. See, Raju has an audience with Governor Scott. He thanks him for his services, and he demands that Beam will be punished in a way so that no one will ever rise against the British ever again. So he demands that he'll be publicly flogged until he falls onto his knees. And then the wife says the first evil thing. It's like, I want to see him bleed. And this is the first time where I've written down all the British are comically evil. And they even go out of the way. Like the British make a public announcement riding through the town. And force everyone, like they give everyone the order to come to see Beam being tortured and whipped. So yeah, he even wants Raju to be the one to whip him, and he does it in front of everyone. And Raju starts telling Beam about about his crimes and starts whipping him with this whip. Yeah, he just tries to just fall to your knees. It's all good. Just don't do it. Now we're getting to the scene. So he starts whipping him, and obviously Beam does not kneel down. He's like, I'm not gonna do anything. And he's just whipping him, and then the wife just goes up from her stand where she's sitting. There's hardly any blood. Hit him harder. It's like, Jesus, lady, you have issues. Just hit him harder. And this is not even the funniest thing she says. So Raju goes on, hits him more. and he just kind of yanks his chain, so it looks like he goes to his knees. And the wife is not pleased yet. It's like, oh, there was hardly any blood, or something. She wants more blood. She worried that he didn't, and she looks at him and sees that his knees don't even touch the thing. And oh my god, I'm sorry, I just don't know what's happening. It's so fucking insane. It's so funny evil. Because he didn't kneel at all. And when Raju wants to continue with the whipping, she stops him and just look at this. Just gets this thing out and just says, "Try this one." It's a fucking whip with nails in it. It's like, try. She just has that with her at all times. She just grabs it. And this is like a Batwoman RPG kind of scene that you see here. He has this fucking whip with nails and just says, "Try this one." It's fucking insane. And I love it. She's so evil, dude. Just look at the governor's face, like, yeah, that's my girl. Absolute madness. It's funny. It's really funny. And Ram grabs the CGI spike group and passes through with hands. He does that at some point. I noticed that too. Yeah. So yeah, she throws that at him. And she even goes like, "Use it at the pillar first. Let's see. Let the wretch see how it will rip him." It's like, fucking hell, lady, you're insane. So yeah, he uses at the pillar, and you see like how it just rips things apart. Raju goes to Bim, is like, "Just kneel down, confess, save your own life. This is crazy." But Beam refuses, and he starts singing a song to keep himself sane, and just kind of rile up the people, I think. While he's doing this sing song along. He just like something. I think it says something along the lines of that you should never give in, and like more spiritual stuff as well. If you're not willing to fight for this land, you don't deserve it, or something along those lines. It's a thematically fitting song. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, during that he gets whipped and beat everything. He just gets fucked up. Like, he gets ripped apart by the whip. Gets beat up by the people and everything. At some point they hoist him up, and he has like a huge fucking like a crazy big weight on his feet. Let's see if I can find a shot of it, because it's actually insane. Like, if we hadn't established that they're all super powerful, I wouldn't believe it for a second, but you know what? I'll give them a pass. Look at this. I think this is like solid stone or iron or something. They just hang him there. So yeah, it's fun. They torture him to shit, basically, and he doesn't give in, and he never kneels. Somebody released the weight, and he keeps singing. They release it at some point, and Beam stumbles to one knee, looking at the crowd, which is getting pretty pumped. He's like, "Oh, these fuckers, these British cocks." When he finally collapses to the ground, the crowd just goes ballistic. And Roger's looking around at the crowd, wondering what to do after he has done this insane thing to his own friend. Still kind of holding on to the beliefs, like, it's for a greater cause, like, I kind of have to do this. This sucks, but man, ooh. Yeah, he's clearly not very happy, and the crowd isn't either, and they just kind of revolt. They get the riot shields out and stuff, and Raju carries Beam away into a little truck, and they take him away. And there you go. Now we covered a whole bunch of ground of the movie. Basically just setting up his whole dealio, where he's starting to doubt himself. Because next he decides to actually save Beam. Let me get there. Because after this is all done, he returns to this place at night and contemplates his choices. He contemplates his choices, and while he's sitting there, some other Indian officer comes around. He gets to know that he's actually going to be in charge of the weapon shipments that are going out soon. But long story short, he decides to free Beam and Mally, because maybe this is not the only way to do it, because with only a song, Beam turned everyone into a weapon, so this might be the better choice right now. But you know what? I think guns would probably be pretty useful too. But I see what you're going for. It's fine. So yeah, he basically decides he's not gonna get weapons to the people. He's gonna free Beam and Mali. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna change the place of Beam's hanging to somewhere else so I can free him. And yeah, Governor Scott and Raju go to Beam's cell. And Scott tells Raju he has failed to bring him to his knees. And he's like, oh, okay, give me another choice, please. Because you can do whatever you want. You won't see any fear in his eyes unless you kill him in front of Mally. And you also need to get them away from the public and dispose his corpse discreetly so people won't be able to see him as a martyr, and start erecting like monuments for him on his grave. And Scott's like, oh, I like that idea. I'm gonna do that. That's actually sounds very, very smart. And we see Raju in the armory, flomping around with the weapons they're supposed to use on that scene, make them unusable basically, and tell them, oh, just look out, don't do anything crazy. And when they're about to leave, he sees that Indian soldier from earlier. We see him drop a razor into the truck, and somehow he drops it exactly into Beam's open hand. It's like, okay, it's kind of lucky you hit that right away. And also, I don't believe no one saw that, because there's like soldiers everywhere. He just puts that in there. It's that one is kind of dodgy. But there you go. That's what we're doing right now. And it's about to be like a little light out. They prepare Beam over there. Scott is ready to go to the hanging, and he thanks Roger for his work, and he gives him a handshake. And apparently Roger still has, I don't know, like gun oil or gun residue stuff on his hand, which Scott has now in his hand. He's like, that is weird. Why would that happen? So he's like, oh, you're kind of sus, boy. So they make their way there. Make their way to the hanging site, which Roger seems to have prepared with traps already off screen. I don't know why we didn't get like a little small montage for that. It was kind of weird. And yeah, he prepared some traps, and he makes the governor realize there's something prepared on a tree that is about to that he's prepped for a trap. And let me see. Oh yeah, he knocks like a thing off. He makes the tree fall, and let's see. He makes the governor yeet out of the car, which looks really funny. And I'm gonna show it to you now if I hit the right button. So we go here. He gets yeeted out. He grabs his gun, aims it, shoots the thing, and yeet. So he shoots the tire on the back, like the back left tire, and for some reason the car just fucking spins to the right and goes like woo 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 woo, and yeets the guy away. I don't know. That has like no sensical reason why that happened. It's really, really weird, but it happens. So there you go. Yeah, it's really weird. It just looks really funny. Anyway, Raju gets yeeted. He rolls into a branch, like a little spiky branch. And yeah, that penetrates his I don't know, his rib cage, his ribs or whatever. Mali runs away, because she is supposed to be here to see him die. In the meantime, Beam broke the ropes, or cut the ropes with the razor, and fights his way through the peeps. They obviously try to shoot him, but the weapons won't work. Roger is going after Mali, trying to protect her while she runs through the bushes. And then she runs all the way to Beam, but gets hold off by a soldier. And we see Raju aiming in the direction of Mali. But it looks like he's aiming for her, but in actuality he's aiming at a guy that has repaired his weapon while all these things were happening, and is taking aim at them. At them meaning Beam and or Mali. Obviously Beam doesn't know this. For him it just looks like he's about to shoot Mali, and when he shoots he just misses and knocks him the fuck out. But yeah, he's actually not missing, because he shot at the guy at the back and kills that guy. Beam knocks him the fuck out with like a branch or something. It looks like he's about to kill him, and we hear like a thud. And for a second it was like, oh shit, he actually did kill him without knowing that he sacrificed himself for him. But we get a little shot that he just did this thing where he spikes the sides of his head, like right next to him. And Raju sees Beam run away, and Raju actually stops more and more people from following them without Beam even noticing. And as soon as Raju sees them vanish behind the hill, he stops fighting and lets himself getting captured. And we get another little flashback where we see him departing from his village years and years ago. I think it's been 3 years, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah. Last 45 minutes of the movie. We're getting there, homies. We are getting there. Let me just reset the little loop-de-loop. Because not a lot of action happening. We just get some more stuff, and then we get the last action scene, basically. And that one is a long one. All right. Because we cut to months later, and Beam is still on the run. They tell Governor Scott they have to be close to finding him, though, because they're combing every area, every inch of all the things, and the only place that is left is Agra. But the next scene is like they go to visit Raju, which apparently have been keeping him alive for all these months, feeding him once a week, so he can feel the pain, but is still being kept alive. He's exercising when they arrive. He's just doing some, I don't know, pull-ups with the chains. Actually, I don't know how effective training would be if you're malnourished. So I don't know. Hey, Swole, tell me the secrets. What would happen if you eat once a week? I don't know how much, but still do like pull-ups and stuff. Wouldn't it be more like counterproductive? Won't you just lose more weight? But yeah. And it's like, oh, let's put him into solitary grounds cell, and they leave. They also fuck up his legs here, I think. Maybe later. So yeah, we're going kind of anime here. I feel like, like this is the anime portion of the action scenes we're getting to. So yeah, they fuck up his legs, put them in like a solitary tism. He would lose weight, but he would lose muscle more slowly since he's stimulating them still. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Right, and then we cut to our homies Beam and co. And they're hiding in one of those last places they can even hide. But immediately we see the police arrive. They actually make their way there. They almost get found by the police, but luckily Sita is here. Yeah, you heard right. Sita, our boy's lady, is here. And he helps them by telling the soldiers that they have an outbreak of smallpox, and they all scramble out. The leading officer is just scanning the area. She's just coughing at him, I think, or something. He gets booted in the stomach. And it's like, oh, you helped me even though you have no idea who I am. That's really nice of you. And then he sees the second half of Raju's playset, and Beam is shocked. But she tells him, oh, it's fine. Oh, wait, hang on. I skipped something. Yeah. She also helps him with food because Melly is hungry. And she tells him she's here for a fiancé and he's a police officer. And this is where Beam sees the second half of Raju's bracelet and is shocked. But she's like, oh, it's fine. He's actually planning a revolution. And we go back to the earlier Raju flashback again. And see them again being surrounded by the British. And his dad tells them he needs to be prepared at all times for the cause. And basically tells him to shoot the explosives on his back. Because they have some explosives here. And his dad is going full kamikaze on their faces. Because the dad pretends to surrender, gets close, and boom, he shoots the explosives and fends off the rest of them, apparently. So yeah, bada bing, bada boom. And we go back. Sita told everyone Ram's story, or Raju's story, and Beam realizes what has happened. And it's really interesting because he recognized that while he, quote unquote, only came here for Mali, Ram came here for the land, and in his tribal ways, he didn't understand what was going on. Like, he didn't understand what his goal was, which I really like, because he realizes that in comparison, his goal was so much more, that Raju's goals were so much more important, but he wouldn't be able to grasp that. But to be fair, he has like no reason to assume that was his goal at all. So he's just being overly hard on himself, I think. He's like, oh man, I didn't realize he was doing that. Because in his eyes, he was just fucked by his so-called friend that works for the British. But he's such a good guy. It's like, oh damn, like his cause was like way bigger, and I fucked it all up for everyone. Now I have to make it good again. And he makes a promise to Sita that he will bring him back to her, even if he has to lay down his own life. And yeah, we also get a reason for at least why she is here. And apparently it's because that she got a letter from the British telling them to collect his body because he's about to be hanged in 2 days. So yeah, while still being a very, very, very low chance for this encounter to happen overall, we at least get a reason to why she's here. I think they narrowed it down as far as they can, being like in the same area and stuff. But India is big. They have a lot of population, so it's still very convenient that happened, I would say. But there you go. They did a little bit to make it more reasonable to happen, I guess. And now we're on the end thing. Oh yeah, there's also like so before he's going to infiltrate the barracks he's being held in, we get like a really short scene. Where is it? Finds the cell of... No. Where is it? Oh yeah. When Beam is starting to infiltrate the barracks, apparently he somehow was able to meet with Jenny, who was also able to give him the blueprints to the barracks. I don't know why they made this choice. I don't know why they put that in here. I would have just made him do this on the fly, like planning it on the fly. I just don't... This feels really weird. I don't know how he would be able to contact her without being found out. I don't know how she made her way out here. I don't know how she found the blueprints. They should have just let this... I don't know, just cut it out completely. Maybe there was like more cut due to time, because this movie is already as long as it is. So yeah, this was just kind of odd to be in here. But yeah, he sneaks in, he finds the cell of Ram by doing, I think, the same noises they made earlier in the movie when Ram was being poisoned. So he does this little knocking tisms as they did before. Oh, I need to reset the loop here really quickly. God damn, this is a long movie. Right, so you know what? I'm not even gonna do a loop. This is just gonna be the rest of the movie now, because we basically only have action scenes left now. So he they should have just not put it in here. The Jenny thing, as I said. Yeah, he sneaks in, finds the cell of Ram by making that same noise. He crawls all the way to the middle of the barracks and finds him with the Nox. He does find him. I get that. It's pretty much impossible that he's not being seen in this open field, to be fair. Especially because you see like soldiers around him in the back of the scenes, and there's like floodlights going around. And they also have like a little talk before they start to escape. Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe he's not getting seen there. But yeah. But yeah, they basically like, oh, how did you find me? What are you doing here? It's like, oh yeah, I found Sita. He shows him the second part of the bracelet, and he apologized that he didn't know of his cause and stuff. They just have this really heartfelt reunion. Even though they should probably wait for that later because he's chilling on that cage for like a solid 3 minutes, I think. But now that that's out of the way, he does get seen when he rips out the cage door and yells and yeets it behind him. He's like, "God damn, you're strong, boy." And this is where he puts him on his back immediately. And this is where shit goes down. They basically form a tower of force. So they yeet people around. First there's some with sticks, and when gunmen arrive, there's like an unfinished building in the barracks where they can hide, take some cover. And they can make sure to separate the enemies, steal some of the weapons, and, well, we get dual-wield rifles for Ram. And they're actually they can make this kind of neat. Because they dodge the sticks, they shoot people, and when he needs to cycle to the next bullet, he holds the weapons down to beam in order to cycle for them. It's bizarre as a concept, obviously, but it's pretty great. I love it. It's fun as fuck. And yeah, they just start shooting the fuck out of people. Obviously, a lot of plot armor involved. I'm not gonna lie. Plot armor, people don't realize they're climbing a tower while they're being a tower themselves. And, well, to get on the top of the tower, they do this. Yeet. So yeah, that's fun. This is where you get the thumbnail shot that I used. It looks so funny, but also so badass. And yeah, we're at pure fantasy at this point. We get even crazier here in a second, because they're basically a 2-man army now. They're unstoppable. They are goddamn unstoppable. So they start shooting at them on top. So they need to get out of those barracks. So how would they manage that? Well, fret not. This is what they do. Yeah. Let me get this copyright boy back up. And yeah, yeet. Shoot some people. And land. No problem. Because we're badass. Cycle weapons, shoot some more people, cycle them again. And there we go. We escaped it. It's just fun. It's just straight up fun. We left all planes of reality now. We're going super crazy now. And it's just gonna get more crazy. Governor Scott gets a call, tells him to use the special forces to hunt them down. And hunt them down as long as they have a confirmed kill. We then see them at some kind of altar or something. Beam prepares some bandages for Ram. Goes to pray, sees a statue, has some actual arrows and a bow. He goes for a drink on some water. Gets almost killed, but Ram is here with the bow and arrow and fucks shit up. Like, you see arrows floating around. He just bam, bam, bam. He does not miss a single shot. And we hear that a song plays. Hang on. Don't we see Ram here already? Hang on. Or is this later? No, Beam grabs some of them. He told... Edward tells Scott that there's like arrows everywhere. Turn on the floodlights, and then we see his shot. Raju has been revived with the bandages, and he's now an ancient warrior with a bow and arrow. And he has unlimited arrows. We're done fucking around. We're going balls to the walls now. This shit is going hard. Compared to everything before this is balls to the walls. And a song starts playing, and it says, quite literally, he is the greatest of all warriors, and his charm as the emperor is unmatched. And he starts fucking shit up with this bow. He runs around, he's nailing everyone with every shot with the bow, killing a bunch of them. He also somehow lights shit on fire, like his bow is napalm. Like he just has godly powers now. I don't even know where he gets the fire from in the first place to light up his arrow. But yeah, he just shoots around. He fucks up a lot of people. He jumps. He's like surrounded by fire. Then the cavalry arrives. Like the British are coming around with motorcycles and everything. At one point, Ram, my stupid microphone is not staying down. Stop it. At some point, Ram is breaks like a spear thingy, which now Beam can use. He's still in the water, so he throws it so that some fire lands in one of the reinforcement bikes, and the explosives explode. And then some of those grenades didn't explode actually, and they land in front of Ram, who now puts the grenades at the top of his arrows, and basically uses his bow and arrow as a makeshift artillery. Or mortar, rather. And he's just blowing shit up left and right. This shit is going crazy now. This shit is insane. Like, we have two peeps with a bow against the whole army, and there's fire everywhere. They fuck shit up. And they kick them, they spear them. Somehow they don't get shot. Like, we don't even care anymore. We have full-on plot armor. We're crazy. We're crazy. We are going nuts. Oh yeah, Beam flips a bike and uses it as a weapon. Hang on, I'll show you this shit. This is crazy town. He flips it with his foot, catches it, and just swings it around. Ba-bam, ba-bam, ba-bam. And then he yeets it with one hand. He just doesn't care. Edward gives one grace shot to... I can't even talk straight. This is crazy. He gets blown up a little bit, and then he gets speared by Beam. So Edward is finally dead. This is entertaining as fuck, but now we're like in crazy cases of soldiers just not shooting their guns anymore. Because there's a couple of instances in this scene where they just walk up to them with the guns. And just get beat up instead of using them, which is kind of annoying. I think they did a pretty okay job so far, for the most part, even in the soldiers' barracks. Not in the barracks, in the big house with the animals. At least they didn't show anyone running around with rifles at them. But here they do, unfortunately, which is kind of a shame. But yeah, we can't win them all. Um. Uh. But yeah, they kill Edward. Beam quite literally grabs a bike at full force, stops it, yeets the guy off him, and there we go. He now has his bicycle. Ram jumps off the bicycle, while jumping, shoots one of the guys of a horse, and jumps on the horse. So now we can have the horse and bicycle scene again. They make their way towards the governor. The governor tells them to start shooting the cannons at them, but only once, because after that they stop and kind of give up with those. Beam yeets his bike. Ram shoots it with a fire arrow that he couldn't have possibly lit like he did, but we don't care anymore. We're just going full balls to the walls now. He sets the bike on fire. The bike goes straight through a window into the armory, and boom, the whole armory stretches through the whole building they're on, and this whole building just collapses in an instant. It just fucking explodes, like everything is fucked. The building collapses. For some reason, in the next scene, Beam is inside the building. I don't know how he got there. But the reason he is in here is so he can grab weapons for Ram to grab later on. The evil wife finally gets killed. Drips blood in the governor's gun. He yells, "No!" She's actually a pretty horrific death. Like, she's like hanging from a ceiling, draped in like barbed wire. Like, this is her death scene. Look at this. He's fucking dead. So yeah, she's dead. The governor is not happy, obviously. Ram confronts the governor, and he shoots some of the leftover soldiers with his bow. Beam was getting crates of weapons for rebellion that he just drags up there because he's strong as fuck. He gets a rifle out. Ram gets a rifle out and gives it to Beam. Governor tries to load his rifle, tries to shoot them, but he gets an arrow to the shoulder, which somehow throws the bullet he was trying to load in towards Ram, who tells the governor the same lines about the bullet being more valuable than Indian's life and how dare he drop it. And then he gives the rifle round to Beam, tells him to give the bullet back and let him keep it in his heart. And he shoots him through the heart. And the governor is dead. We won. We did the win. And yeah, that's basically it. We just see that Ram and Beam return with a truck full of weapons to Sitha and the crew. And Jenny is here as well, apparently. Later on, we see that Beam is going back to his tribe with Mally. Sitha and Ram are finally reunited. They have all the weapons they want. Ram asks Beam how he can forgive him, what he can do for him. He's like, just teach me how to read and write. He's like, aw, you're so modest. And anyway, they got weapons stuff. All are going back home. The revolution can start, I guess. Woo! There's going to be horrible death. But we're going to talk about this because we end this movie with another song of stuff and things. Just like the outro, I guess. And there you go. We did it. After like probably 25 minutes of absolute insanity at the end, we did the thing. We won the war, but not really. We won this fight. And we did it. We're done. The movie is over. And I fucking love it. I really do love it. I have to show Friendos this movie. I have to show Mutually. I have to show Roogs, Fringy. I have to show them all. I might just grab them all and get them in a call. I kind of want to show it to Mahler first, see what he thinks about the EFAP movies about this. Because this could be really fun. I think this could be pretty cool for an EFAP movies, now that I went through it again. But I want to show it to Mutually as well. Because it's a chonker. So we shall see. I'll let him decide. But that's the thing. That's basically it. Good stuff. Really, 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 really fun. I kind of adore this movie because of it's just entertaining. We set the stage on how the power level's gonna be. I don't know, the end scene almost goes too hard. It's really fun and entertaining, but it feels kind of rushed at the end, if I'm being completely honest. Because the other fight scenes are kind of well thought out, if you will. Because in the beginning they're all pretty well thought out, but this ending is just okay. You're just invincible now. You can fuck up this whole army now. Go nuts. Don't know if I expected that ending to be a thing, but yeah, this is just a really, really entertaining movie. I feel like a lot of media these days tries to go for just pure entertainment and balls to the walls action and whatnot, but they do a really bad job. But even here in this nonsensical universe that we have in RRR, it checks out because we set the stage of their power levels. They're like super strong, and it just checks out. It's this weird combination of being actually kind of grounded in the story, but then we go to the action scenes and it just goes absolutely batshit insane. But yeah, very entertaining. Big thumbs up for that alone. I think it's actually pretty competent on the storytelling side as well. It was a pretty solid job getting us through. It doesn't drag anywhere. It's really nice. I've been very entertained, and I'm just staggered by the movies that just have this surfacing happening right now, that come from non-Western studios. I mean, I think the first one that really stood out was probably Squid Game, and that was just really, really good character-wise. Now we have this one. There's another one I'm kind of forgetting. It's not even like, I guess Arcane kinda counts because wasn't that a French studio that made this? I don't know. I could be wrong with this, but there's like a bunch of movies from non-Western studios that are going pretty hard. Oh, Parasite. Parasite was really well made as well. That was a pretty cool movie that told a really good story. So yeah, I feel like we need to start keeping an eye out for all these non-Western movies. Because yeah, they've been some sleeper hits here and there that are actually not sleeper hits anymore because they went around the block, if you will. But yeah, this was great. This was great. Go watch it. Have a blast of a time with this one. Yeah, France is technically the West. That's true. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, good stuff. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Who made that? Because that was very good as well. Who made that? Was that from Korea? Let me check here real quick. Now I'm curious. Produced by Joe Russo. No, that's a that's a Russo brothers movie. So I don't think that one counts. I think production. No, it's that was A24. That's an American independent entertainment company. Yeah, no, that one is I think mostly a Western production. But yeah, that one was just a really good movie as well. Go watch that Metal's Forge as well if you haven't already. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. Let me just see. I think there was a super chat earlier. Have you watched Merantau? No. That's like the first Tolly/Bollywood movie I've ever seen. So I guess that one goes to in the same side. Oh, it's a martial arts movie. Ah. I never even heard of that one. I'm always a sucker for martial arts tisms. Indonesian martial arts action film. Oh, okay. Merantau. I'm gonna put that on my little list here of things and stuff. Boom. Pretty sure it's American, but to have in the same year as Real Need. Yeah, absolutely. I was curious to watch some other Tollywood/Bollywood movies. Maybe they're all of that kind of quality, because that was really fun. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and yeah, it's good. I just like a good movie or show. Yeah, me too. What a simple concept, right? It's crazy how that goes. But yeah, Bollywood movies are wild if they're not full of singing and dancing. They're full of absurd action scenes. I mean, I've seen these really crazy ones with the crazy CGI where this one guy is like this super robot man that just kills a lot of people. I don't even know what the what the story is. But there were like some clips that went viral. That might be a fun one to watch at some point. I think I nailed. I found the movie's name at some point. But yeah, with a budget of 72 million, looks better than any $2 million Disney. Yeah, I don't know what's been going on with Disney and CGI. Like they kind of dropped the ball in some parts, but I guess that's just the downside of having to produce all these shows in X amount of time, right? Actually, let me see. I think it made RRR made all this money back, I think. Let's see here. RRR box office. So worldwide, it made 99.7 million, and oh shit! Did I say it earlier? How much the cost was? RRR production cost 5.5. Oh, that's ENR. How much is that in dollar reduce? In dollar. Yes, I would like to convert this. Why are you doing this to me? Oh, it's because it's doing the wrong thing. 5.5. Oh. So if this is converted correctly, apparently it's 69 million US dollar. I don't know, I just put that together myself. That might not be correct. But yeah, overall it was pretty successful, at least in India. It made 42 million in its opening and grossed 81 million. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, they won't stop producing those movies because there's a lot of them. And I think both of these tops, both the protagonists that are in here are like the best paid actors in India, as far as I could tell. So yeah, I'd like more of this. This was fun. Most successful movie in India ever. Yeah, I think I saw something like this as well. It broke like several records in box office and stuff. So yeah, Fun stuff, fun stuff. This was great. I was happy to talk about it because that was a surprisingly fun movie to watch, and I can't wait to show it to more people because I think it's pretty great for what it does. But yeah, I think that covers it for today. I think that's probably the longest Forge I did on my own, I think. This might have actually been longer than the Arcane one. If I'm not mistaken. I have to check later. But yeah, good stuff. I'll leave it there. As I said, next Forge Sunday on Thor, Love and Thunder, I'll be joined by Frongeld. So there you go. Looking forward to that. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the kind donations, super chats. I appreciate it. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Goodbye. Yeah, goodbye.